Oh god. What is happening? Hello? Hi, XD. I just finished eating food, so we rolling. I also have a surprise for you too, Bestie Queen XD. Oh god, okay. Okay, buddy. Alright, give me a second. Everything's lagging on my laptop, which is fantastic, I guess. And it's been lagging for a while, so I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna stream it anyways. Let's see. But yeah, we are reacting to things today. Everything's closed, okay. Let's let the ad play, then we'll see. Oh my god. You just subscribed? Oh god. 31 months. Hold on.
Happy 31 months. We're 5 months away from 3 years. Let's go.
And today is...
Oh. I don't know if we were able to hear the last part of that, and there was ad too. Fuck's sake, bro. This is bullshit. Thank you so much for the 31 months. What the heck? Thank you. I really appreciate it, Bestie King. So sad about that. Oh god, nothing's working on my laptop. It's so slow. Okay, there we go. Happy 31 months. We are 5 months away from 3 years. Let's go. Love you. Oh my god, thank you. I really appreciate that, Bestie King again. And the tier 2 too. That's awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Alright, now it's working. Oof. My laptop's working now. Also, guys, go subscribe to Bestie King. He's gonna go live more. I know it, he will. My Twitch keeps not responding, and I don't like that. But, let's see. So we are reacting to... maybe XD. Maybe so, but I'm ready to take the chances. Alright, there we go, finally. But yeah, we are reacting to Smosh doing the scary stories from the internet, Smosh Mount 67. So I watched a little bit of it, but then I was like, oh, I really need to react to this live, because I really love Smosh. Ooh, Smosh, let's go. Yeah. But this, like, I got chills. I heard, like, one story of theirs, and I was like, whoa, this is so good for Spooktober. There's an ad break. Do we wait for the ad break? Let's wait for the ad break. And then we'll start, just in case someone's lurking. I haven't watched much of that playlist that you sent me because I have so many YouTubers I watch. Sorry, XD. It's okay. No worries at all. You can watch here with me. That's fine. Alright, 46 seconds. We wait. The posted and sent. Hold on. I haven't been able to watch a lot of Queso either. I've been just watching his shorts. So it's okay. We're kinda equal on that part, Bestie King. I'm gonna wait a few more seconds. And that's why I didn't even get my avatar today, because I wanted full. Demon 8 even spawn a wild phantom appears. What? Okay. Yeah, okay, so uploads every day, so XD. Yeah, I know. I'm aware. What do you mean? I watch him every day, XD. That's awesome. I watch Smosh every day. Maybe? I don't know. Depends. But yeah, let's watch this. It's gonna be fun.
Welcome to Smosh Mouth. I'm Shane,
And I'm Amanda.
and today
You can hear
is
it?
our annual
properly?
creepypasta episode. Did it last year, it was great.
So excited.
Doing it again this year. Halloween's coming up, and I have been excited for this for months now.
I know.
And this past couple weeks, I have just been reading creepypastas.
How
accruing this.
spooky.
It sucks a
It
little
kinda
bit.
See
sucks
how
a
our
little bit.
It
similarities
kinda sucks
XD.
a little
Hell
bit.
yeah.
I remember last year.
Love that.
I
Also, they
didn't
did
know what a
that
creepypasta
last year
was,
too.
which
It's
is
so fun.
awesome of me. Very cool. Sometimes
No,
I
I'm
wonder
deaf and
where
can't
have
hear
I
it.
been?
Wow.
But when you started reading them, I was like, oh, these are just like stories
I can hear it
that
for
I
real
grew
though,
up
lol. I
reading,
know.
like ghost stories.
They're scary stories. It's just they come about on the internet now. What I think makes creepypastas often scary is
Let
that
me
a lot of times
lower the
it's
volume
hard
a
to
bit so
trace
that
back
you can
who
hear me
wrote
more,
them.
I guess.
So sometimes there's no credit to them because they were created like by a lot of people on a message board or something.
And so let me get this right. Creepypastas aren't true. Or
No.
we don't know.
No, they kind of become a new
Lore.
type of folklore, kind
Yeah.
of how Slender Man.
Oh yeah,
was the most
Slender
famous
Man is so
creepypasta,
famous,
and
bro.
that started, like I said, it
Biffle,
started off
hi,
with like a
welcome
photo
in. So good to
that
see
someone
you.
had created.
How are you always
this
here?
Creepy, tall, faceless
So
man
good
in
to
the
see you,
background
though.
of like a playground.
Hi,
with kids playing.
the perfect balance.
And then just
Heck yeah.
stories come about.
It's
and
good,
kinda
right?
just
Both
builds
volumes
and
good?
It builds on the internet to a point where now people just go, "Oh, I've seen Slender Man in real life." People are saying that.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my God.
Awesome.
But
Let's go.
there's so many places on the internet where people post stories and
Yeah,
create.
I think the volume's good.
monsters.
Yeah, let's go.
And
So
people
excited.
literally do things in real life created on those creepypastas and those
Yeah.
monsters. Which
It's
is
Bestie
like
Queen
the
XD.
really
Yay.
dark side
Awesome.
of it, but stories are so powerful. People
Yeah,
can relate to them because there's a little bit of truth in them. too.
absolutely. What I like about creepypastas too is they tap into certain types of genres and things that I feel like classic
yeah.
horror stories never do.
Creepypastas are great.
I have a couple today that I think fall
What do you
into
mean
that.
by that?
You know, I think I'll explain as we read the stories because I have a
Oh.
couple that I think are very specific to creepypastas. Types of stories that happen a lot in creepypastas that I feel like you don't see too often outside of it.
Oh, I see.
But I have a lot, and I found a few that aren't too long so that
Okay.
we can read a few stories.
Love that.
Some of them are famous creepypastas. Some of them are a little more niche, not as known. A lot of them are old stories from like over 10 years ago. Some of them are a little more recent. But
Oh,
I
I
read them all,
love
and all of these
creepypasta so
did
much.
scare me. So,
Oh, okay. I'm really excited because you and I really like watching horror movies, so I feel like you and I get scared about a lot of the same
yeah.
things.
But my favorite stuff is I think my favorite type of horror is like eerie. Or like
Oh, yeah.
mysterious, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of unknown, a little bit of what is going on. That's what really gets me.
Too.
But we have a variety here today.
And what's cool is Art made it look like we like broke into an abandoned like
Yeah.
cottage or like weird mountain house, and we like set up one little light, and we're sitting at the table, and all the cabinets are bare except for like a couple things
Ew.
of
Right.
beans.
And at the very
of
end
beans,
of this
couple of
episode,
things.
after
Yeah.
we finish these stories, there's going to be a knock at the door, and we're not going to know.
and we're
who
not gonna know who it is. And there's a lake down there, and it's
Yeah.
like there's one boat,
And
but
there's-
only
Wait,
one
hold
paddle.
on. You have a long message. I'm gonna read it. Yes, well, you admit to you being the prettiest and most beautiful Indian girl out there because you made me admit, you know what, Lamau? Oh my god. I don't know, man. Maybe, I guess. XD. But this is so fun. Let's go.
Right.
I'm
There's
so
not two.
excited.
Only one of us.
These
can
stories
go.
are gonna be so
God.
good. I
should
love
also just
them.
give, I
I
feel
love
like,
these
pause
guys.
for a second here. I should have said this at the top. Just a general trigger warning regarding creepypastas. I picked ones that I felt
I
weren't
guess I'll
too
agree with you
intense.
for the time being,
But
Bestie King.
in general, you know, these are pretty scary stories. Some very scary topics and uncomfortable themes.
But yeah, guys, like they said, check the description for trigger warnings and time codes. Let's check them out first, just in case somebody in chat has something. So the third story, trigger warning death. Fourth story, we have trigger warning animal cruelty and violence. Trigger warning sixth, it's suicide. And then 8th is death and suicide. Oh my god, there's a lot of death and suicides in this. Whoo, no. Oh my god. It's gonna be spooky, alright. Just a heads up, maybe now you are. Okay, whatever. But yeah, please, trigger warnings. I think they will do the trigger warnings on every thing they do. I watch these with a spoon of salt. Or what is this phrase? I don't know. Like, I watch these as stories only. I do not indulge in the more complicated things about the things. But just in case anybody is not okay with any of those, I think they will do trigger warnings for every episode that there is. But just be careful, okay? If any of these triggers you guys, please leave it. If you need to, we respect you guys and love you guys. Exactly. So if any of this triggers you, please. Already they said it in the warning. There are gonna be themes to this. I just love to watch these guys doing stories, and they're just reading stories off of Reddit. But if any of this triggers you, please be careful, okay? Now we're gonna continue.
So if it's not for you,
Get out of here.
watch another episode.
We have
Plenty
plenty of other episodes that are more light.
Okay, so our first story. Do you believe in like signs? Like, oh, I got a sign I shouldn't
Let
go.
me
I
do the
shouldn't go out
captions
tonight.
on.
I got a sign that I shouldn't
people
do
who
this.
need
Or
it.
I got a sign like I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I'm seeing
Yeah,
a sign.
I normally
I
equate
think
it to
signs
like deja vu.
are
I
there
always see
sometimes,
deja vu
yes.
as like,
I do believe
okay,
that,
I've been here
Shane.
before, or I think
By the
I'm
way, these are
going
Shane and
the right
Amanda,
way.
and I love them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They're from
So this
Smosh.
first story is called "Distorted Warning Signals."
Distorted
It was
warning
written
signals.
by Ashley
Ooh.
Rose Wellman. I'm trying to see when it was written. I'm not sure, but it's a story kind of in this realm of
Okay.
receiving signs.
Mm-hmm.
When I got the first one, I was literally seconds away from stepping onto the plane when a call from unknown blared from my cell phone.
Oh, I
It was a
never pick
ringtone
up
I hadn't heard
unknown
before, one I was pretty sure
calls.
hadn't come with the phone. Normally, I wouldn't have stopped to
I
answer
just
it, but I
ignore
was
them.
expecting a call about a job I had interviewed for the previous week. I took a deep breath in and accepted the call. Hello? Do not get on the plane. A woman's voice, garbled and strange, as if her vocal cords had been shredded, and she was
not
trying
get on the
desperately to choke
plane?
out speech. Despite the unnerving, fractured quality
We
of her
know they're
voice, her
from
tone was
Smosh. Okay,
insistent
okay.
and eerily calm. Then the call ended. I froze. I had always had a slight phobia of air travel, and something about this call just... There's no way I was about to get on a 7-hour flight
I only pick
now.
up calls from
I
people
turned
I know.
around
I
and
know,
headed
right?
towards the food court.
I never pick up
I'd just get
unknown
another
calls.
flight later in the
Should
afternoon,
I?
I figured. I
This
watched
is
from the airport
creepy, holy
Starbucks 3
shit.
hours later as every TV in the terminal lit up with crash footage of the plane I should have been on.
A
No
crash
survivors,
footage.
not a
Yes,
single
Amanda,
one.
same.
What?
I tried to trace the call.
What?
So did the police, but there was nothing to trace. There was no evidence my phone had
There
ever
was no
received a
evidence
call
of the
around that
call?
time. They analyzed the phone records, incoming and outgoing communication to my
What?
phone. Nothing. I wasn't making it up. I couldn't have been. That wasn't the only call. Throughout the years, they were few and far
God.
between, but always right, and I always listened.
Ooh.
Do not go on that blind
Okay,
date
I
tonight.
have
5
chills.
months later, my would-be date was convicted of killing 4 women, all with my hair color and build. Found them in a shallow grave about 250 feet from the diner he offered to take me to. Do not drive to the concert tonight. 18-wheeler
The
lost control
concert.
and plowed into a line of cars. Every driver crushed, every driver killed.
Oh,
In the
every
stretch of
driver
freeway
killed.
I would have been driving down. No matter if I
What?
got a new phone, if I moved across the country, the calls would still come. I could almost feel the presence of whatever
Even after
whatever
changing the
it was
calls?
watching over me.
Really?
I imagine being at the bottom of
phones?
the freezing ocean, still strapped to my coach section plane seat, or being in the mass grave across from the diner, or watching an 18-wheeler skidding toward my car knowing death was imminent, and I'd get this tightness in my chest.
She dodged
I'd
death
think
so
about
many
how thin that
times.
line was, how close I'd gotten. If I hadn't had a job interview I was waiting to hear back from, I'd have never listened to that first call, and that would be it for me. It always felt like something was coming for me, but there was always this fractured, warped voice with these calls that never seemed to exist after I heard them. Self-destructing warning signals rotting away before my eyes.
Self-destructing warning signals. This person avoided disaster many times. Wow, I know, right?
I'd planned it as a girls' week out with some of my friends from college and was looking forward to a week in the tropics in the dead of winter, but part of me could almost sense that the call was coming. Maybe I'd watched Titanic one too many times, but there was
Oh
a
yeah,
little nagging
Titanic.
fear
I
from
love
the start.
Titanic. It was a great
I
film.
hoped it would be fine, but I knew that if something was going to happen, I'd get the call. I'd know. Now, a week before I'm set to go on the cruise, after stepping into my apartment after returning from dinner with a friend, I notice my cell has a message from unknown.
Oh,
They
yeah?
never had to leave a message before. Haven't
It
checked
was a
it all
message
night.
this time.
Damn it, and I really wanted to go on that cruise too. Ah, well, not worth whatever horrific fate awaited me in the cold, dark ocean. I click play message and feel my stomach drop as I listen to the voice, sounding horrifically distorted, as if it emanates from a throat slashed to ribbons, crackling with more urgency than ever before. I look around my apartment as the voice on the phone repeats the same phrase over and over again.
Okay.
Do not come home after dinner tonight. Do not come home after dinner tonight. Do not come home after dinner tonight.
Oh God.
She's home
She's home
after dinner tonight.
after dinner tonight.
Oh God.
It's a good one.
That's it?
That's where the story ends.
What?
What?
Yeah.
No,
Update?
Amanda, I'm
no,
shocked
no
too.
update. She came home after dinner tonight.
What are you
Oh,
talking
no.
She didn't
about?
listen to the warning.
She didn't listen to the warning. I imagine this girl thanks her lucky stars that she took that call. She seems like one of the luckiest girls ever. But she came after dinner tonight. There's no update. There's nothing. Oh no. That's a wild ending. I know. These are gonna be wild, I'm telling you. Creepypastas are fucking crazy. Alright, creepypastas are basically like copypastas. You do not know who the original sender is, but it keeps on circulating on the internet and passed on from people to people. The cliffhanger. Oh, she's dead, probably, bro. It is Bestie King. She is probably dead because the warning signs were there. She avoided that so many times. Not today. I don't know. This is crazy.
Okay, who's this writer? I want to write her a letter. 'Cause that cannot,
Oh my
that
god.
cannot be the end.
That's where it ends.
I wish she added something, like, and then I heard the footsteps up the stairs.
Oh,
See, I like where
true.
it ends.
No!
I like where it ends.
I guess you and me are not the
Oh
same.
man.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That
was-
I really liked that. I wasn't expecting
I
that.
got goosebumps when I heard this
So
story
she still
yesterday.
can't
So
go on
this
the
was the
cruise
only
with her
story I
friends
heard,
'cause
and then
she's
I was
getting
like, I need to see
slashed.
this on
You
stream.
don't know what's coming for her, but something's coming for her.
And now we'll
Something's
never
gonna
know.
happen.
Something's coming
Yeah.
for her, but we don't know.
pretty
That's some
spooky.
Final Destination
I
creepypasta
know.
stuff.
I know.
Final
it's really
Destination,
good.
oh
It's a
God.
well done one.
Has anyone thought to do, like, make these? I mean, of course they have. Made
Oh,
these
yeah,
horror
well,
movies. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Slenderman.
plenty. Candle Cove, Slender Man. There's been tons that have been turned into things, but most haven't, and they're all so good. Our next story,
Oof.
that I think I'll pick. You talked about in a recent episode about how you had an imaginary friend as a kid.
I did.
What? Skinny
Bob.
Bob the bear.
Oh, the
Bob the
skinny tall
bear.
bear.
A tall,
Who
skinny
didn't
bear.
speak.
Who didn't?
Kind of made fun of me a lot in the best way ever.
Okay, I was gonna
Okay.
be
Like the
RB,
friend
but the
that's like,
story
chill
was wild.
out.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I know, right?
And
Crazy.
did Bob did he protect you from things? Was he there to make you safe or anything?
He wasn't like hero status.
Okay, he was
You'd
just
probably
like
find him like sitting on a couch and be like, "I told you so." That's
Funny.
like
Speaking of which, I never had a what chickamale? What is it called? I will listen to the story while BRBing XD. Yeah, okay. But I've never had a imaginary friend of sorts. Amanda had one, but I have never had one. So, yeah, let's see where this goes.
more of his vibe.
Oh, Iqbar Biggleston. Oh, is this the story? General trigger warnings. Okay, so the first one was trigger warning death. This one has animal cruelty and violence. Just so you know. Okay.
okay.
I definitely felt
Let's
protected,
continue.
but I more like had to
Also,
do
I've
it on
never
my
had
own.
one either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess he was a very
Same.
healthy imaginary friend.
But
He's
your
like,
trigger
gotta do
warnings
this on your
there.
own, kid.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, our next story is about an imaginary friend.
Okay.
It was written
Oh, it's about an imaginary
12 years
friend.
ago. I can't find the author,
Well, if someone knows the author, they'll put it in the comments.
but some of them, it's the credit is kind of unknown.
Ooh, even spookier.
So this is a story someone wrote about their childhood imaginary friend.
Did you ever see
Okay.
the movie Drop Dead Fred?
No,
It is a very scary movie about
Oh,
her
really?
imaginary friend.
doesn't sound like
Ooh.
a scary movie. That
Well,
sounds like a comedy.
Drop Dead Fred.
It's a mix of both. I think it's from the 80s, and I watched it when I was a
Okay.
kid, and that made me very scared of imaginary friends.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well,
Damn.
hopefully this story doesn't make you more scared of imaginary friends.
Okay.
When I was a small child, I
Oh,
was
God,
terrified
here
of
we
the
go.
dark. I still am, but back when I was around 6 years old, I couldn't go a full night without crying out for one of my parents to search beneath my bed or in my closet for whatever monster I thought was waiting to eat me. Even with a nightlight, I would still see dark shapes moving around the corners of the room or strange
God.
faces looking in on me from my bedroom window.
Oh, I
my
would be
parents would do their
scared.
best to console me, telling me that it was just a bad dream or a trick of the light, but in my young mind, I was positive that the second I fell asleep, the bad things would get me.
Oh,
Most of the
no.
time, I would just hide under the blankets until I became tired enough to stop worrying, but every now and then, I would become so panicked that I would run screaming into my parents' room, waking up my brother and sister in the process. After an ordeal like that, there would be no way anyone would be getting a full night's rest. Eventually, after one particularly traumatizing night, my parents had had enough. Unfortunately for them, they understood the futility in arguing with a 6-year-old and knew that they would be unable to convince me to rid myself of childish fears through reason and logic. They had to be clever. It was my mother's idea to stitch together my little bedtime friend. She collected a large assortment of
Oh.
random pieces of fabric and her sewing machine
No.
and created what I would later refer to as Mr. Ickbar Bigglestein.
Okay.
Or
Ickbar
Ick for short.
Bigglestein.
Ick was a sock monster, as my mother called him. He was made to keep me safe while I slept at night by scaring away all the other monsters. He was pretty
Ooh.
damn creepy, I had to admit. Honestly, looking back on it all now, I'm still impressed that my mom could think of something so strange and disturbing looking.
Oh,
Ickbar
no.
had the stitched together look of a Frankenstein gremlin, with big white button eyes and
Oh,
floppy
Mother,
cat
what are
ears.
you doing?
His little arms and legs were made from a pair of my sister's black and white striped socks, and the half of his face that was green was made from one of my brother's tall football socks. His head could have been described as bulbous, and for his mouth, my mom attached a piece of white fabric and sewed in a zigzag pattern to shape a wide grin of sharp teeth. I loved him at once. From then on, Ick never left my side. So
Okay.
long as it was after dusk, of course, Ick didn't like the sun and would get upset if I tried to bring him to school with me. But that was okay.
Oh.
I only needed him at night to keep away
Vampire.
the boogeymen, which was what he was good at. So every night at bedtime, Ick would tell me where the monsters were hiding, and I would place him near the section of my room closest to the spookiness. If there was something in the closet, Ick would block the door. If there was a dark creature scratching at my window, Ick would be pressed up against the glass. If there was a big hairy beast under my bed, then under the bed he went. Sometimes the monsters weren't even in my room. Sometimes
Okay.
they would hide in my dreams, and Ickbar would have to come with me into my nightmares. It was fun
Oh.
bringing Ick into my dream world, as he and I would spend
He was
hours fighting
protecting
off
him.
ghouls and demons. The best part was, in my dreams, Ick could talk to me for real. How much do you
Oh.
love me? He would ask. More than anything, I would always tell him. One night in a dream, after I had lost my first tooth, Ick asked me for a favor.
Oh.
Can I have your tooth? I asked him why. To help me kill the bad things, he said. The next morning at breakfast, my mom asked me where my tooth went. From what she told me, the tooth fairy didn't find it under my pillow. But I told her that I gave it to Ickbar. She just shrugged and went back to feeding my little sister.
Oh my
From then
God,
on, every
shrug
time I
that.
lost a tooth, I would give it to Ick. He would always thank me, of course, and tell me that he loved me. Eventually, though, I ran out of baby teeth, and I was beginning to get a little too old to still be playing with dolls. So Ick just sat there on my bookshelf collecting dust, slowly fading away from my attention.
Okay.
Over time, the nightmares, however, became worse than ever. So bad that they even began to follow me to the waking world, terrorizing every dark corner or rustle in the bushes. After one particularly bad night biking home from a friend's house when I swore a pack of rabid dogs were chasing me, I got home to find something strange waiting for me in my room. There on my bed, standing fully upright in the soft glow of the moonlight from my window, was Ickbar. At first, I just thought my eyes were playing tricks on me again. They had been all evening, so I tried to flick on the lights. Another flick of the light switch, then another and another with no change to the darkness. It was then that I started to get nervous. I backed away
no.
slowly toward the door behind me, my eyes never leaving the shape of Ick's silhouette, my hand awkwardly outstretched behind reaching for the doorknob. I was just about to get my ass out of there when I heard the door slam itself shut, locking me into the blackness. In nothing but shadows and silence, I stood frozen in place, not even breathing.
Oh,
For how
God.
long, I can't say, but after what felt like a lifetime of cold fear, I heard the shrill, familiar voice. You stopped feeding me, so why should I protect you? Protect me from what? Let me show you. I blinked once and everything changed. I wasn't in my bedroom anymore. I was somewhere else. It wasn't hell, but the comparison wasn't far off. It was some sort of forest, a horrible nightmarish place where partial monstrosities hung from the canopy and the ground swarmed with carnivorous insects. A thick fog wafted through the air and with it the stench of rotting meat while chartreuse lightning flashed across the night sky.
Jesus.
In the distance I could hear the agonizing screams of something not quite human. My head throbbed like it was about to explode, the pain forcing out a river of tears. In my mind I heard his voice again. This is what your reality would become without me. I felt earth-shaking footsteps approaching fast. I'm the only one who can stop it. It was behind me now, huge and angry, hot breath across my back. Bring me what I need, and I will. I woke up before I could turn around. The following day, I raided my parents' closet for my brother's baby teeth, giving them all to Ikbar. Almost immediately the night terrors ceased, and I was more or less able to go on about my life as normal. From time to time,
Jesus.
I would have to sneak into my little sister's room and
Not
snatch
taking
what
your
was
brother's
meant for the
teeth.
tooth fairy, or strangle out one of the neighborhood cats and pry out its sharp little incisors.
Oh, no.
Anything to ward off the visions, anything from a shark tooth necklace to a cavity ridden by cuspid. I also began to notice that Ick would move about my room whenever I left for any length of time, rearranging my stuff and hanging additional curtains. He was even beginning to look more lifelike somehow. In the right light, his teeth would glisten, and he was warm to the touch. As much as he creeped me out, I just couldn't work up the courage to just destroy him, knowing perfectly well where that would leave me. So I went on collecting teeth for Ick throughout all of my high school and college.
Oh, no.
The older I got, the more
Jesus.
things I would learn to fear, the more teeth Ick would need to keep me safe. I'm 22 years old now, with a decent job, my own apartment, and a set of dentures. It's been almost a month since Ick's last meal, and the horrors are starting to crowd around me once more. I took a detour through a parking garage after work tonight, found a man fumbling with his car keys. His teeth were stained yellow from a lifetime of cigarettes and coffee. Even still, I had to use a hammer to get out the molars. When I got back to my apartment, he was waiting for me, on the ceiling, in the corner, 2 white eyes and mouth of razors. How much do you love me, he asks. More than anything, I reply, taking off my coat. More than anything in the world.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
credit to Stephen D. Harris. That's who wrote that.
Okay, Stephen.
Okay, Stephen.
Okay, Stephen.
Um,
Damn. It's crazy.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
that got to a really sad place.
that one's dark.
That one's
That-
really dark.
That
was
one's-
crazy.
At first, you were reading it, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds like Drop Dead Fred, like love me." And then I was like, "Oh, dentures."
Yeah,
She strangled a
Freaky.
cat,
I know.
a hammer.
Yeah,
She
no.
has dentures.
Went through a lot to just.
This is awful.
This is
no,
terrifying.
this is
So Bob
horrible.
the Bear was
no,
was
don't
not
do
like that.
No. Bob the Bear is. Hey, he's not needy.
Okay,
He's very independent.
he's just chilling.
It's almost like Bob shows me a version of like a version of myself that I want to be or something. Just like
Interesting.
chill,
Bob is
open,
chill.
but like always there for you if you need him.
Okay. It's
Have you ever seen the show Eric on Netflix?
No.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He's like a puppeteer.
Oh, it
and
was bad.
his
Just gotta
son
catch
goes
up a
missing,
few
and
more
and
things, XD.
The puppet
good.
that the
I'll
son
take
was
your
like
time.
thinking about comes to him, and it's kind of like
I'm
that
just
guy.
watching
He's just like
video
nah,
I like.
whatever. This is
Nah.
really spooky.
This
That's
is
really
scary.
scary.
I mean, there feels like there's so many different horror movies that I've seen that like this is giving me a lot of familiar feelings, like
Yeah.
The Conjuring or like anything in the woods that's like
There's always also something so creepy about like children's imaginations when kids are, because kids.
Also love
kids are
Cumberbatch,
open.
by
They're
the way.
super, super
I
open.
forgot to
There's
say.
no logic coming in. I mean, yes, some of them have logic, but they're not like
Yeah.
thinking, okay, that's dumb.
Saying
They-
crazy shit.
They're just open to it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. I like the way he writes.
He wrote really well.
He wrote really
Yeah,
well.
it was
It's really
really
Chartreuse
written.
lightning. I mean,
I know.
come on.
There you go.
I was like, I picture that perfectly.
Charcuterie lightning.
Charcuterie
Sounds
lightning.
Cheese and sausage
Yeah.
flying down.
Wow.
The girl's like, oh, actually, that's not too bad. I like this forest.
Yeah. The idea of a sock puppet with teeth, I don't like that.
That's scary, bro.
I mean, I'm not surprised that the mom made something freaking dark. She's probably seen some dark ass shit.
I will say, I feel like there's got to be a better way to get teeth than what he's doing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's
come on,
a crazy
dude.
way
Yeah,
to get
you know,
teeth, bro.
Why couldn't we just
Get
start
some
with like
fake
eating like
teeth. Why
food?
are you
Become a
taking real
dentist.
teeth?
Yeah,
What
like
is wrong with
Go
you?
go to dental school.
Like stop making. She has dentures. That's what's disturbed me the most.
Dentures.
Oh my god.
That she ripped out her own teeth. Like
I know that
teeth?
small little detail is really well done.
I don't like that. I don't like.
No.
I really don't like body horror.
Hate it.
Oh,
Why do people
wait.
really don't like
Sorry.
body horror? But like teeth ripping out.
It's a lot.
This is really creepy.
Super creepy.
It's almost like Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
Elf on
I'm
the
gonna
Shelf.
relate it
that
to Elf
stuff,
on the
Elf
Shelf.
on the Shelf is terrifying.
It's
I've
the
not seen that.
worst thing
I
in the
hate
world.
it. Hate it.
Why do people do it?
Yeah. This episode of Smosh Mouth is brought to you by Mint Mobile. Look, I love a
Sponsorship.
great deal, but I'm not going to go through a lot to get a great deal.
Let's
No,
skip
it's
this.
so
And phone number.
Offer and you're
Sponsorship,
new
I'm
to
sorry,
$15
guys.
a month. Lower above 40. This
This
is
is-
really spooky.
Yeah.
On unlimited plan.
All right.
Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply.
Sorry.
See Mint Mobile for
No
details.
sponsorship here.
Back to the show.
Let's go.
Well, our next
Wow.
This is trigger warning
Our
suicide
next story
for
is really
anyone
creepy.
that
This is
really
wants to know.
spoory.
Smile.
Yeah. This next story is a famous
Dog.
creepypasta.
It's a famous.
Famous?
It's a famous creepypasta.
It's a famous
Igbar Bigglesteen was also a
creepypasta.
pretty famous creepypasta. But
Also-
this one's very well known.
His nickname, Ick.
I think it, yeah. I mean, what are you doing?
Quick at your own risk.
So,
Yeah.
do you
Okay,
believe
suicide.
in
Trigger
do you believe in
warnings.
like cursed objects?
Cursed
Like
objects are crazy.
like an object could be
You know I do.
have a bad
No,
energy
Mirrors.
to it.
cursed objects are fucking
Mirrors
scary.
and old paintings.
Interesting
I-
old paintings.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like estate sale stuff is not.
And then, are you familiar with like chain letters? You know how back in the day, and I feel like it's probably found new ways of doing this, where it's like, you've seen this, like this, you've read this, now pass this on to a friend, or else you will get 10 years of bad luck. Did you ever get that type of
I
thing?
mean, I got those stupid texts that were like,
Yeah.
send this to your 10 best besties, or you're
Yeah.
gonna rot in hell forever,
Exactly.
you dirty little girl.
Those are some themes, I would say, of this next one.
Chainmail.
So there's a legend online about an image, just an online image called Smile Dog.
Smile dog.
Sounds fun. Here we go.
Ooh,
Okay.
Smile
I
dog.
first met in person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terrence, to see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed since I was not a newsman, but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments and, if all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business, but at the last moment, Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me. For a half an hour, I sat with Terrence as we camped outside the bedroom door, listening and taking notes while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. The things Mary said made little sense but fit with the pattern I was expecting. Though I could not see her, I could tell from her voice that she was crying, and more often than not, her objects to speaking with me centered around an incoherent diatribe on her dreams, her nightmares. Terrence apologized profusely when we ceased the exercise, and I did my best to take it in stride. Recall that I wasn't a reporter in search of a story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find another similar case if I put my mind and resources to it. Mary E. was the sysop for a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992 when she first encountered Smile.jpg, and her life changed forever. She and Terrence had been married for only 5 months. Mary was on one of an estimated 400 people who saw the image when it was posted as a hyperlink on the BBS, though she is the only one who has spoken openly about the experience. The rest have remained anonymous or are perhaps dead.
What?
In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was first brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena.
Okay.
Mary was the most often cited victim of what is sometimes referred to as smile.dog. The being Smile.jpg is reputed to display. What caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre elements of the
That's
cyber
strange,
legend
okay.
and my proclivity towards such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it even exists other than as a rumor or a hoax.
Okay.
It is unique because though the entire phenomena centers on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certainly many
How?
photo-manipulated
How is it not found?
simulacra litter the web, showing up with most frequency on sites such as Imageboard 4chan, particularly the /x Focus Paranormal subboard. It is suspected these are fakes because they do not have the effect the true smile.jpg is believed to have, namely sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety.
Oh.
This purported reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the phantom-like smile.jpg is regarded with such disdain, since it is patently absurd, though depending on whom you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge smile.jpg's existence might be just as much out of fear as it is out of disbelief. Neither
Okay.
smile.jpg nor smile.dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on such other perhaps more scandalous shock sites as hello.jpg or Two Girls One Cup. Any attempt to create a page pertaining to smile.jpg is summarily deleted by any of the encyclopedia's many admins. Encounters with smile.jpg are the stuff of internet legend. Mary E's story is not unique. There are unverified rumors of smile.jpg showing up in the early days of Usenet, and even one persistent tale that in 2002 a hacker flooded the forums of humor and satire website Something Awful with a deluge of
How do people
smile.jpg
get
pictures,
epilepsy from a
rendering
picture?
almost half of the forum's users at the
And
time
stuff like that.
epileptic.
That's crazy.
It is also said that in the mid to late 90s, that smile.jpg circulated on Usenet, and as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line, "Smile, God loves you." Yet despite the huge exposure these stunts would generate, there are very few people who admit to having experienced any of them, and no trace of the file or any link has ever been discovered. Those who claim to have seen smile.jpg often weakly joke that they were far too busy to save a copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, all alleged victims offer the same description of the photo. A dog-like creature, usually described as appearing similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of the camera, sits in a dim room. The only background detail that is visible being a human hand extending from the darkness near the left side of the frame. The hand is empty, but it is usually described as beckoning. Of course, most attention is given to the dog, or dog creature, as some victims are more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is reputedly split in a wide grin, revealing 2 rows of very white, very straight, very sharp, very human-like teeth. This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victims, who claim to have seen the picture endlessly repeated in their mind's eye during the time they are, in reality, having epileptic fits. These fits are reported to continue indeterminately, often while the victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some cases it is more effective than others. Mary
It's
E.,
a
I
baffle.
assumed, was
What the-
not on effective
How is
medication.
this
That was
real?
why after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I sent out feelers to several folklore and urban legend-oriented news groups, websites, and mailing lists, hoping to find the name of a supposed victim of smile.jpg who felt more interested in talking about this experience. For a time, nothing happened, and at length I forgot completely about my pursuits, since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy. Mary contacted me via email, however, near the beginning of March 2008.
That's so intriguing.
This is
Okay.
to jml at blank.com from Mary E at blank.net. Subject, last summer's interview. Dear Mr. L, I am incredibly sorry about my behavior last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand that it was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did. I realize that I could have handled the situation more decorously. However, I hope you will forgive me. At the time, I was afraid. You see, for 15 years, I have been haunted by smile.jpg. Smile.dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that
Every
sounds silly, but
night?
it is true. There is an ineffable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them completely unlike any real dreams I have ever had. I do not move and I do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is the scene from that horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand, and I see Smile Dog. It talks to me. It is not a dog, of course, though I am not quite sure what it really is. It tells me it will leave me alone if only I do as it asks. All I must do, it says, is spread the word. That is how it phrases its demands. And I
Spread
know
the
exactly
word.
what it means. It wants me to show it to someone else. And I could, The week after my incident, I received in the mail a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was only a 3.5-inch floppy diskette. Without having to check,
Welcome back,
I knew
Mr.
precisely
King.
what was
Alright,
on
I
it.
finally
I thought
returned.
for a long time about my
I'm just baffled
options.
by the
I could show
story.
it to a stranger, a coworker. I could even show it to Terrence, as much as the idea disgusted me. And what would happen then? Well, if Smile Dog kept its word, I could go to sleep. Yet if I lied, what would I do? And who was to say something worse would not come for me if I did as the creature asked? So I did nothing for 15 years, though I kept the diskette hidden amongst my things. Every night for 15 years, Smile Dog has come to me in my sleep and demanded that I spread the word. For 15 years, I have stood strong, though there have been hard times. Many of my fellow victims on the BBS board, where I first encountered Smile.jpg, stopped posting. I heard some of them ended their lives. Others
no.
remain completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web. They're the ones I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you'll forgive me, Mr. L, but last summer when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near the breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy diskette. I did not care if Smile.dog was lying or not. I wanted it to end. You were a stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel sorrow when you took the diskette as part of your research and sealed your fate. Before you arrived, I realized what I was doing was plotting to ruin your life. I could not stand the thought, and in fact I still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigation of Smile.jpg. You may in time encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, then wholly more depraved, someone who will not hesitate to follow Smile.dog's orders. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Mary E. Terrence contacted me later that month with the
Okay, hold on. Phew, that was more to catch up than I thought. Haha, these stories are crazy. They are. Okay, let's continue.
news that his wife had killed herself. While cleaning up the various things he'd left behind, closing email accounts and the like, he happened upon the above message. He was a man in shambles. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He'd found the diskette, he revealed, and burned it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of blackened plastic. The part that most disturbed him, however, was how the diskette had hissed as it
that
melted,
might help you
like
out
some
while
sort of
watching
animal,
this
he said.
video. Oh
I
god,
will
are you
admit
doing
that I
the
was
video
a little
triggers?
uncertain about how to respond to this. At first, I thought perhaps it was a joke with the couple
triggers are
belatedly
still on,
playing
we
with the
can try
situation
them.
in order to get a rise out of me.
But I don't know.
A quick check of several Chicago newspapers' online's obituaries, however, proved that Mary E. was
By the way, I
indeed
changed
gone.
the
There was, of
girls
course,
one
no mention
that you
of
so
her ending
want
her life in the
changed.
article. I decided that, for a time at least, I would not further pursue the object of Smile.jpg, especially since I had finals coming up at the end of May. But the world has odd ways of testing us. Almost a full year after I'd returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E., I received another email to jml@blank.com from elzhir82@blank.com.
Oh no, he received
Subject,
another mail.
Smile.
No.
Hello. I found your email address through a mailing list. Your profile said you are interested in Smile Dog. I have saw it. It is not as bad as everyone says. I have sent it to you here. Just spreading the word. Smiling face.
No,
The final line
open
chilled
it.
me to the bone. According to my email client, there was one file attachment called, naturally, smile.jpg. I considered downloading it for some time. It was most likely a fake, I imagined, and even if it weren't, I was never wholly convinced of smile.jpg's peculiar powers. Mary E.'s account had shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyways. After all, how could a simple image do what smile.jpg was said to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with only the power of the eye?
Oh no.
And if such things were patently absurd, then
Don't
why did
open
the
it,
legend
please.
exist at all?
Thank you.
If I downloaded
appreciate
the
that
image,
message.
if I looked at it, and if Mary turned out to be
That is
correct,
a
if
great
Smile Dog
message.
came to me in my dreams demanding I spread the word, what would I do?
That's
would I
really
live my
helpful.
life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give in until I died? Or would I spread the word, eager to be put to rest? And if I chose the latter route, how could I do it? Whom would I burden it in turn? If I went through with my earlier intention to write a short article about smile.jpg, I decided I could attach it as evidence, and anyone who read the article, anyone who took interest, would be affected. And even assuming the smile.jpg attached to the email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes. Yes, I could.
Oh no. Don't
Do you
spread
want to
the
see the
word.
image?
Don't know. I don't want to see the image. Oh god, ads. Skip that, okay.
Do you want to see the image?
No.
Are you insane?
I have it right here. I'm looking at it.
Nope.
Do you want to see it?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to see the image.
We
at
can
all.
attach it as a link in the description.
What?
No.
Guys, do not click this image.
No.
Smile.jpg will be linked in the description below.
No.
Because we're just spreading the word.
That's insane. Who are you? Are you the owner of this? Okay,
Did I write this?
can I tell you, did the horror movie Smile come from this? Have you seen the horror movie Smile?
Holy shit. Okay, this video Bella is currently reacting to has triggers on it that you may be very uncomfortable with. Please do leave at any time if any of these stories also trigger you. We love you. But yeah, thank you so much for that trigger warning. There you go. I'm doing this for anyone who comes in and hasn't seen the triggers. By the way, I got you, Bestie Queen. No, I shall not click the description, Shane. Okay, I'm curious if there is a link to this. That would be crazy. I'm not clicking it, of course. I don't want to be... There's no... What? No, he didn't... Oh shit, he actually linked it. It's the Smile Dog one. Click at your own risk. They actually linked it. No, Shane, why? I shall not click the description, Shane. Oh no, it's right there. knowyourmeme.com. Oh my god, what? Oh, it's literally there. I dare not try it. That's wild. It could be a meme too. I'm just saying, but I'm not mentally strong enough to click it. It says it's a meme, but I am scared. I'm not clicking it. Nope, absolutely not. That's crazy. Why would you do that?
I did see Smile. This...
It's different.
This is an older story, but this is more akin to The Ring. Because
Isn't
The
more
Ring is
akin
about
to
a
The Ring.
suggesting
That's
that
a
you
hard
need to
pass,
keep on
man. I
passing.
know.
It's almost like in the
That's
newer
crazy.
times, it's like It Follows.
He actually
movie
did it.
Smile.
There's a lot of... Well, it's this
Okay.
idea...
Though they do like to meme a lot. It could be a legit meme, but I personally don't want to take the risk of even clicking it. So I'm just not gonna even click it to see, just saying. But that's crazy.
Of like a cursed
Pass
item,
it on.
and you now have to do something, and if you don't follow its orders,
I've
you will
never
be
followed any
cursed
orders.
by
No,
it.
that's not how it
That
works.
stuff scares me a
No,
lot
don't do
because
it.
it's almost like, in a horror movie when someone's like walking in the woods and they reach the same
I mean,
place
fair,
and they're
but the
lost.
risk isn't worth it.
And it's like they're stuck
I
in a
agree.
loop.
Haha, yeah.
That shit scares me so much.
Guys,
So
do not
that's why I
click
will
it.
not be looking at
Just
that.
in case. Oh, hi.
Do not click the link in the description below.
Zieko_Relegante just followed.
Hi, Ziako. Welcome in. How you doing? Hello, Boo. Boo? Did you meant to say Boo or Bro? Hi, welcome in. How you doing? Okay, let's go back a little bit.
Stuck in a loop.
But yeah,
That
we're
shit
watching
scares me
videos right
so
now. We're
much.
reacting to stuff.
So that's why I will not
How are
be
you
looking
doing
at
today?
that.
Okay?
This is spooky
And you
month.
shouldn't either, people.
Do not click the link in the description below.
I can't
not
believe you were
click.
looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're nuts.
You're
It's probably
nuts.
a
Why were you
recreation. This is
looking at
probably
it?
not the real one.
Oh, is that what you told
It's
yourself?
really creepy, though. It's a creepy image.
Don't try to convince me
I'm
to
not
look
gonna
at
try
it.
to convince you to look at it.
My God.
So but it's
crazy.
not a dog,
I'm great.
It's not a dog.
Awesome.
A lot of the
Love
victims say it's
that.
not a dog.
but it's a hand
So good to
beckoning.
see
A
you.
hand beckoning in the background, and a dog, a distorted dog with human-like teeth.
May I recommend some horror videos? Huh. Well, I don't really like to watch horror stuff. But if it's like okay-ish, I can watch it. Hydrate. Thank you, Timely, for the hydrate. Oh my god, hi, Timely. Welcome in. Let me get the hydrate first. But you cannot send links in the chat. You can, I would go play Sims, but I must stay here, XT. Oh my god. Hi, little sister at heart. But yeah, hi, little sister at heart. I was hiding. XD. Oh my god. But you can whisper it to me or one of the mods. We have 2 mods here. Because one I hate horror videos. Yeah. No, I hate them too. But I'm watching like moderate horror stuff right now. They're just reading stories, but the creepypastas are crazy. But yeah, you can send a link of the videos to either me or one of the mods in a whispers. If it's too scary, I'm not gonna watch it personally. I will look at the title and a little bit of the video offline, and then I'll think about if I want to see it on stream or not. But yeah, you can suggest some videos. Thank you, Zacko. I appreciate it. That is fair, yeah. Oh wait, Jared. Okay, I gotta DM you something that happened to me on Sunday. Okay. But yeah, just whisper it to someone. And if it's okay, we can send it in chat, because the links are not applicable. I do not have a Shelmet. Okay. But I will complete this video first. Okay, how much is left? 25 minutes more. Okay,
Nope.
that's
No,
fine.
thank you. I will not be looking at that.
Okay.
I am superstitious enough. I'm not like wholly believer, fully believe everything, but
Yeah.
I'm superstitious. What? Is
I'm
the image
superstitious enough to
lame?
not
No, it's not
click
lame.
it,
It's
bro.
scary. It's scary looking.
You just show me like a cartoon dog.
It is
that's
not.
Like, itty bitty.
No, it's scary looking.
Okay.
It's a scary
Whisper
looking
it to me and
image.
I'll see
You
if
should
it's
stop
too
looking
scary.
at it.
Yeah, either, anybody. Either the mods
Okay.
or me.
Selena agrees with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Selena
almost
won't
like
even
I
see.
won't go in the mirror and say Bloody Mary.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the one that brings the Candyman?
Exactly. You know how... Okay, I've been like, I love to watch Sam and Colby too. I wanted to see their video after this, maybe, probably. But there is this thing called doing, what do you call it? 3 a.m. challenges where you can do stuff. Like, have you ever done Bloody Mary? I have personally never done that. And I'm so scared to do it. Like, there are some things that I just can't do. And then, like, Sam and Colby used to do this, like, 3 a.m. challenges way back. I think they do it sometimes too right now, but it's like, they will summon a midnight man, they will do a card game with people at 9 a.m. I have never done that, yeah, no. But yeah, the midnight man was a scary one. If anybody of you wants to watch Sam and Colby, Sam particularly do that. He used to do 3 a.m. challenges a lot. They have not been doing it recently, but they might again. But they have posted a video that I really wanted to watch, which was their Hell Week video in an abandoned school that they bought. And yeah, maybe we'll see that, maybe not. We'll see. Let's complete this first. I have a time crunch too. What time is it right now? Yeah, so 1:17 p.m. for me. I'm gonna stream till 3:30 or 4 p.m. my time. So yeah. Okay, let's continue. I'm pausing a lot.
Candyman?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a movie.
Yeah, you have to say 3 things in the mirror. That's when the Candyman comes out.
Oh yeah, I don't do that stuff.
Yeah, I don't do that
I'm
either,
not
yeah.
trying to beckon.
Okay.
Yeah, don't beckon
things.
anybody.
Either.
Don't beckon scary people.
Okay, let's do a little. This one's
A palate cleanser?
I think this is a
palate
little bit of a palate
cleanser?
cleanser because it is creepy, but I think you're gonna think
Dead
it's funny.
Bart. Trigger warning
Now,
death. This
this
has a
one
trigger warning
is
of
one of
death.
the ones that I was
for
talking
anybody
about
who
where
doesn't
this is a common
like it.
creepypasta theme that I feel like you don't see much in regular horror, which is lost media. So
Okay.
lost media is like, you've probably heard about how certain TV shows have an episode that they took off the air and they've lost it, or like how there's a lot of movies and shows that are like all the films are burned, so like that movie that existed that people remember, it doesn't exist anymore. And on the
Creepy.
internet, this happens a lot too, where just things get lost, and we're like, yeah, it's gone. It's lost media. This
Oh,
video that
lost
everyone
stuff.
loved, it's gone.
Where does it go, though?
It's just gone. It's like maybe every single record of it was deleted. It just can happen.
Okay.
So there's a lot of these types of stories that were written in creepypastas. There's the most famous one, which is about a lost episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh god,
I didn't pick
SpongeBob
that
SquarePants.
one, but I picked another one about a lost episode of The Simpsons.
Okay.
No, I don't watch The Simpsons.
That's okay. I don't watch The Simpsons.
Did you watch The Simpsons growing up?
Not really. No. It was on, but I never really watched it.
Wasn't allowed
My brothers loved it, but I wasn't really watching it.
Yeah.
But this is an episode. This is a story about. There's a lost episode of The Simpsons.
Okay.
A lost episode. Okay.
You know how Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes? They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from season 1. Finding
Oh.
details about this missing episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During production of the first
Okay.
season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous, and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present results in them getting
Interesting.
very angry
Also,
and
it's in the
forbidding you
pinned
to ever
messages for
mention it
anyone
to
who
Matt.
has this
The episode's
stream
production
unmuted
number
too.
was
Yes.
7G44. The title was
Indeed.
Dead Bart. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who is on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan
Okay.
event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd and eventually had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I had followed him, probably expected a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the lost episode, though, all color drained from his face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of
Oh,
paper,
no.
wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me never to mention the episode again. The piece of
Okay.
paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser and I came to a site that was completely black except for a line of yellow text, a download link. I clicked on
Oh.
it and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I had ever seen. System restore didn't work, the entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this, though, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on my now empty computer, and
I'll
as I
open the message after
suspected,
the
there was an
video. Yes,
episode of
yes,
The
thank you.
Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but
Okay.
had very poor quality animation. If you've seen the original animation for Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar, but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angrier, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents.
Okay.
The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip. Near the end of the first act, the plane was taking off. Bart was fooling around, as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane and was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of the Simpsons world represented life, and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body.
Oh.
Act
I would
1
be
ended with the shot of Bart's
terrorized.
corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at their table crying. The crying went on and on. It got more pained and sounded more realistic, better acting than you would think possible. The animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. This crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just lying in front of his tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells a joke at this part, but it isn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest star on them. Some that no one had heard of in 1989, some that haven't been on the show yet.
Okay.
All of them had death dates on them. For guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison, the dates were when they would die. You can
In
try to use the
real life.
tombstones to predict the
Oh.
deaths of living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about most of the ones who haven't died yet. All of their deaths are listed as the same date. Credit to K.I. Simpson.
What?
Hey.
Creepy.
So
How's
it's a
this a
lost
palate
cousin who wrote
cleanser,
this
bro?
story about.
I guess so. Yeah, it's a Simpson.
That's honest. That's sad. That Bart Simpson died.
Bart's dead, dude.
But like, you're
Oh
an
my
idiot.
God.
You smashed a window in an airplane,
Well, yeah,
and
Bart
you got sucked out.
doing typical Bart things.
Is it crazy that I can't stop thinking about Angela as Bart
Oh
As Dart
in
no.
the
Simpson?
Dart Simpson?
Yo.
So whenever you're saying it, I'm thinking about Angela with her face painted yellow, like, yeah, hey guys.
Oh no.
Is that
That's from an
terrible?
episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amanda's talking
these
about an
types of
episode
things actually
where
kinda creep me out.
Angela
Like,
dressed
it does
up as
creep
a
me out of
Simpson.
just like, yeah, there's this episode that nobody really remembers, and it's just kind of like off.
See, these stories kind of make me feel like I just went on an acid trip and I want to come back home.
Okay.
Okay? Like, I'm
I
a little
get
bit
that.
like, What?
Yeah. Okay.
That's a crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
But is the Simpson guy related?
We don't know.
This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money.
Another
Shane,
ad? No.
Not for me.
Delivery.
Rocket
Come on,
Small.
man. How many sponsorships?
We have one. So I feel like we have to maybe choose between some things here. So I've got a
Okay,
couple.
the
love how many
rake, trigger
creepypastas
warning,
you
I've
suicide.
got a lot. So
For anybody
we
who
have
doesn't
one
like
that's
that
kind of a little
kind
more,
of stuff.
I would say, not sci-fi, but a
Sci-fi.
little more distorted reality
Man, yo.
type of horror, and one that's more monster horror.
Ooh.
Both are. These are both really famous creepypastas. They're
Ooh,
both
famous
really good.
creepypastas.
Monster.
You want to go monster?
I do.
All right.
I want to go old school classic monster. That's what I'm
All
feeling.
right.
I'm feeling classic.
Then this one's
Let's
good.
go.
This one was recommended to me by a few people. This is an old one. This
Check your
originated back in like
whispers, bestie king.
2009. And it's a famous creepypasta. It is The Rake.
The rake.
The Rake.
That's an
Terrifying
awesome
monster.
name.
But
Awesome
a
name.
lot of people were like, oh, this one really scared me back in the day. So
Ooh.
this is a series of accounts of this monster known as The Rake. Okay. All right.
All right.
This is a collection of different
Accounts.
reports and
Okay.
accounts.
Wait,
So
what did you
people
say?
collected
Well,
different
check your whispers.
letters and stories and posts online that
Okay.
all lead to this one monster.
Oh.
So this is a suicide note that was found in 1964.
Oh.
As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear for what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. Found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Linny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name. This is a journal entry translated from Spanish that was
I'm talking
from
about Twitch, by the way.
1880. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror.
Yeah,
I
I
have
did.
experienced the greatest terror.
No, you didn't.
I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand, I will not sleep. His voice. And then it's unintelligible text after that. We have a mariner's log from 1691. He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed, I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England.
Door.
We shall not return here again
Parents
at the
are gonna
request
see the
of
door.
the rake.
Lol. Oh my god.
From a witness in 2006. 3
We're
years
fine
ago,
today.
I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I
Okay.
put the kids right to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. I used the moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in
Okay,
the
XD,
process.
yeah.
I apologized and told him I thought he got out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed so quickly his knees almost knocked me out of the bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man or a large hairless dog of some sort.
What?
Its body position was disturbing and
Crazy.
unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed and then crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5, it just seemed like a while. Just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and ran into the hallway, leading to the kids' room. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very, very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. She said, "He is the rake." My husband drove his car into a lake that night while rushing our daughter to the hospital. He did not survive. Being a small town, news got around pretty
God.
quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house.
Jesus
After we decided to
Christ.
return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now referred to as the Rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believe to be the accounts of the
This is
Rake.
scary.
None of them
Holy
gave
shit.
any details, history, or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only that they were told to leave by the Rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led to us wondering if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night. Every night for 2 weeks, I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around my bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the second week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording 8 times with normal speed. This took almost an hour every day. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the Rake. I can't listen to it long enough
Oh,
to
no.
even begin to describe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and I now believe that it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason the voice on the recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head make me very upset. I have not seen the Rake since he ruined my life, but I know that he has been in my room while I slept. I know and fear that one night I'll wake up to see him staring at me.
Damn.
That's the Rake.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah. Credit to Brian Somerville.
Thanks, Brian Somerville.
Thanks, Brian Somerville, for
for
creating the Rake.
creating the Rake and setting some
Hey,
nightmares.
hot
My
hunter,
God.
let's go.
Yeah.
What scares me the most is obviously the modern day story
Oh,
of sleeping
yeah.
in bed because
But there's
Wow.
something so creepy
Yeah,
about.
let's go.
Yeah, and this
Hell
thing was
yeah.
spotted 400 years ago.
100%.
It's just like,
the ship,
yeah.
do not come back to England.
We need
Double
to be
Brian.
leaving for England.
Indeed.
Do not come
The
back
Rake
to
told us
England.
to go back to England.
We must go back and tell the prince or the king that we can't get the spices.
My favorite stories are monsters.
But this is why I wanted to
Yeah.
read the. I love the monsters one. It gives me, it like gives me that like nostalgic like warm wrapped sweater. It makes me feel like a little kid again because I feel like we told a lot of monster stories. Whereas like sci-fi I love, but it feels more like I'm older.
Sci-fi is more like, oh, what could we as humans create
Yeah, it's
that
like,
we
whoa.
shouldn't, or like
That was
that type
crazy.
of thing.
Wow.
And then ghosts and demons and stuff. It's like, what if there's these things that are all around the world? But what's creepy to me about monsters is it's like, no, we're talking about one singular thing that could be out
That's
there.
been alive
That's-
forever.
Or yeah, just this one thing. Like, it's not like, oh, there's a bunch of these all over the world. It's like, no, there's this thing somewhere in this part of the United States called the Rake. And people have recounted seeing it
Dude.
over the past. And I'm like, that to me that creeps me out. Because I'm just like, ooh. And
So
there's a lot
bad.
of those stories because there is like the Jersey Devil. There's,
Yep.
things like that get brought up. And I'm like, ooh, like that's.
There's nothing scarier to me than feeling like the blankets are getting like ripped off of me or there's something beneath my feet.
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I have to
agree.
have my feet
That's
covered.
crazy.
Like
I
I
don't
can't
need
just
to.
let my legs be
I don't
free.
need to, but
Wow.
I usually have like one leg out.
So that leg is for the taking.
I just get too hot.
That leg's like
Yeah, they're like, oh, for me? For free?
Jesus.
the rig's like, oh,
I'll take
hello.
this. I also love monsters just in a storytelling sense because there's something
Yes.
poetic about monsters in that I think they are, if done right, monsters are like the representation of something real.
Yes.
Like a monster will represent fear or
Yep.
guilt or anxiety, but like in physical form. And it brings that fear of what it really is in the real world, but it personifies it.
Like that movie A Monster Calls. I love that movie
love
so much. I think
monster
Liam
scene.
Neeson is voicing over that monster.
I don't know if I've...
It's so good. It is like, I think it's his grief
Do you
and
not see
stuff
what I
like
sent
that.
you?
But I'm
here?
such a fan of monsters, and it's
What on
hard to
Twitch?
do. there's
you
not
send me a list?
many
But I can't
monster
see shit.
movies, but it's what I like. Like when I watched Stranger Things, I was like, oh hell yeah, monsters!
Loved.
I'm into this. Like, give me monsters.
I think monsters are tough because it's like, what do they look like?
It can be
I
really-
really
Give
think
me a
you could
second.
really mess it up. Like
Yeah.
they either look really, really scary,
Oh,
or
now I
they're
can
like.
see it. What the?
I mean, I think it's best when you don't fully see them, like see their
course.
full scale.
Of course. Yeah.
That was a creepy story.
It was really creepy. It's a popular one. Trevor, when I was texting with like Spencer and Trevor, and Trevor was like, "Oh, the rake scared me as a kid." I was like, "Okay, well."
So he was reading creepypastas as a kid.
Oh, a lot of people are reading these as kids.
Where did he find them?
They're just all over the internet. They end up everywhere. Like the reason, like the whole idea with
Sorry,
the pasta
I-
is like that it gets
Wow,
posted, it gets copied
I
and
couldn't see
pasted.
it. Now I see
Right,
it.
right.
Sorry.
So copy pasta, creepy pasta, and so these stories get told.
What's copy pasta?
That's just copy pasta is any story that or phrase that gets copied and pasted all over
Got
the
it.
place. And so creepy pasta is just the scary version of that.
Sorry.
Um,
Trish was
so there's
being
a lot
weird,
of-
okay?
And that's why there's so many that are about things that like interest people of that age group. There's a very famous Minecraft horror story called Hero Brian about a dude who's playing Minecraft, just a single player game, but he kept seeing like an image of someone else playing the game like very far off in the distance.
Ooh.
And just stuff like that. So it's like it's scary for people who are into the game. They're going, oh man, what if I see it? You know?
I kind of love those stories that stick in my mind. Like the last time we read creepypastas, I'll never forget
I'm
that
not blaming you, so like
creepy little thing that was in the.
Mr. Widemouth.
There you
Oh,
go.
Mr.
Yeah.
Widemouth.
Yeah,
I'll
That's
never
crazy.
forget that.
If you haven't watched our previous creepypasta from last year, you
Go
should check
back
it out.
1 year from now.
There's a whole bunch, and there is a subreddit called No Sleep, which is really popular
Oh
nowadays.
yeah,
which
the
is
last
another
year's
story
creepypasta
forum.
with the other
And
they did was
there's
crazy.
a lot of stories
I loved
there
it.
that we could
It was
pull
also
from
scary.
as well. So we'll do this again. This is a lot of fun.
Mr.
God, I
Widemouth
love
was
October.
something.
Yeah,
He was really
October's
spooky.
so fun.
it is a lot of fun.
Halloween.
I
Everything.
like reading
I
scary
love
stories. I
Halloween,
couldn't do
kind
this
of.
all the time though.
No,
Yeah,
full-time
it's
scary?
nice to have like a time when I do this, and then I'm like, let's move on to some happy stories, some
Yeah.
Am I the Asshole stories.
That's
stuff
why
like
I think about true crime podcasters. Like,
I couldn't do that. See that
yeah, same.
does a different thing to me as
Like,
opposed
have
to
1 month
scary stories have me
dedicated
going
to
like
scary
my
stories.
imagination gets riled up and I start thinking I'm like, ooh, what's going on? What things? But true crime has me feeling more dread
True
and
crime-
more like
true
sad.
crime is really-
Oh,
Because I'm just like, that's someone has to live with
real
that.
life,
I
you
agree.
know.
And I'm like, I personally can't get behind like, I'm like, you know what? People do all sorts of things in different forms of jobs, but I have a hard time like being like oh sorry, my mom is calling me.
whoa.
Oh!
She was like, I heard you. So a voice told me that I
but-
heard you.
But with true crime, I'm just like, I can't get over that. I'm like, that's someone's real life.
Yeah.
And that to me is awful.
I
Whereas-
know,
'Cause
but I
somebody
think,
went
I
through
think,
that.
I think I, like,
It's
I
real
could
life,
do it
you know?
because I get really like obsessed with the small
Right.
details.
Well, and I guess I can handle it if it's been resolved. If like, oh, they're locked away or whatever. But so many are like,
no,
no,
they're-
no, and
yep.
I'm like,
Especially missing and
yeah, it just that makes me sad.
yeah.
Knowing that it's like, and honestly, I don't even like a fictional story about like kind of real world horror. you
Yeah.
know, where it's people doing things. I'm like, let it be something that we
Well,
don't
we just
know
know.
if it exists or
I
not.
know,
Yeah.
right?
So
It's crazy.
monsters
It's the instinct
and
mothers have.
evil images and
So
lost
surreal,
episodes
but
of
so
TV
true.
shows. I'm like, ooh,
It's
like
easier
what is
to
this? And
digest.
there's an element of unknowns, but whereas with real, like what's truly scary is stuff that it's like, oh, we know everything about
Yeah,
this.
the
and it's
IRL
awful.
stuff
like
is more
that's
scarier
really
than
scary. Whereas a
scary
little bit of
stories, you know?
unknown is like a fun
Things that
scary.
happen
Yeah.
in real life.
Because
to
we don't
people.
know.
So what does it
It's
say about
really
me that I listen
crazy.
to all that
You're
real
one of
shit?
so many people that are interested in it. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I'm just saying, for me personally, on an entertainment
Yeah.
level, or just like,
Yeah.
and we can be entertained. Sounds like the wrong word, but you know, captivated by things, right?
Yeah.
Like
Storytelling.
No different than someone who's into reading histories of wars. It's like that's not good. So I'm not glad a war happened, but
Who
you
is
know,
reading histories of war?
I'd be.
Oh,
Come on, like ancient wars. That stuff is crazy.
ancient Rome. Let's go back to that trend.
Like Greece, that shit's awesome.
Oh, well, I love that.
I'll read about the Peloponnesian War.
But I love like Greek mythology. mythology.
See,
Yeah,
that's
Greek
and that's
mythology
like
is really
that's
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
That I'm having a blast, and that's the thing. This type of scary,
Mythology
I
stuff
have a
is
lot of
really
fun.
cool and
It's just fun for
really
my
fun.
imagination.
Yeah.
Whether
Because
it's
then
Greek
I
or
cook up
Indian or
stories.
any other.
And I'm like thinking about things.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you for finding all those stories.
Yeah, and I hope people
Amazing
enjoy
stories.
it.
Spooky time.
Yeah, it's hard to find because a lot of creepypastas get really dark.
Mm.
A lot of them are really messed up.
Oh no.
And
They're
some
more messed
are
up
just
than
like
this.
some are bad.
Jeez.
Some are bad.
Some are bad.
Someone's like, I was walking and flipped on the
I
light.
mean, anyone can write a creepypasta. You can
Yeah.
just post them online, but I
Oh
like
my
the
God,
ones like
playing
I
Age
said
of
that give me a sense of
Mythology really helped me
eeriness
learn
or are
about
scary,
mythology
but
in general.
not
I love
not like
that. That's
dreadful.
awesome.
So
No, those were really good.
I hope I did a okay job with pulling these.
No,
but,
these
No,
were
those
great.
were awesome.
Shane.
Just don't look at the link
Don't look at the
don't
link.
click the link, guys.
of smile.jpg.
Yeah, don't click that.
Great job, Shane.
Thank
you
you.
for sharing that.
Thank you.
I am spooked.
And for people listening, please comment down below your favorite creepypastas because we'll do this again.
Yep.
And maybe next year, maybe sooner. I mean, I'm down to do creepy episodes.
Christmas time.
Yeah, Christmas
Christmas
creepy.
time. Christmas creepy.
Creepy Christmas.
Oh,
Let me know
God.
your favorite creepypastas down below. And we'll see you next week. Next week, we're telling some real ghost stories
Yeah.
that people
Did
have
the link
experienced
the
here at
last
Smosh.
episode?
Yeah, we're bringing some people on, so stay tuned for that.
All right. Thank you for
They
watching.
didn't.
We'll see you later.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Hold on. I want to see last year's. I wanted to show that one thing of Mr. Widemouth because that was the creepy one. I loved it. There's so many. So many I've not watched. Well, at least on this account. God, it was last year. It's gonna be a while before I see it. I don't even. Oh, there it is. r/creepypasta. Oh, there's another one. It was last year once. Okay, video is now over time to unpin.
Smoshmouth.
Well, this doesn't have a lot of Mr. Widemouth. Okay, you can unpin the message. This doesn't have the trigger warnings as such, but just keep it for the one. I'm just doing one video of Mr. Widemouth. Lurk, thank you so much for the lurk. I can't catch up on every YouTube video as that is impossible XD. And yeah, indeed. But this was a fun one. I just want to see Mr. Widemouth again. Because that was a creepy story.
Red, I found
I
this
think about this
past week when I was just
sometimes,
searching
not always.
for good stories, and I read this one, and it's
Okay, wait. Because I gotta sleep. Okay, good night, Timely. I love you. Thank you so much for the lurk. And sleep well, lovely. Sleep well, little sister at heart. 305% love. No, I love you more than that. But yeah, go sleep. Get some rest. Good night. Thank you for coming by. Sleep well. Okay, Mr. Widemouth. Here he is.
get into our first story here.
I'm excited.
This one I had not read. I found this past week when I was just searching for good stories.
2 hours
and,
of
I read
rest.
this
Let's
one, and
go.
it's-
So good night.
I
I'll
love this
message you
kind
in
of
a bit,
story.
Bella.
Okay.
Oh, I love all
The
these
ammo,
kinds
I
of
miss
stories.
you.
All right.
Okay.
So this one is
I'll
called
keep a
Mr.
check. I love you too. Bye.
Okay.
It's
Je
an
t'aime.
old one.
I
I
love
want to
you.
say I forget what year it came out, but it's been on the internet for over 10 years.
Super
Or no,
hug time. Good night.
roughly maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Good night.
But I traced it back to a user named Perfect Circle 35.
Perfect
So,
Circle 35.
not a name, but a username. But here's the story.
Okay.
During my childhood, my family was like a drop of water in a vast river, never remaining in one location for long. We settled in Rhode Island when I was 8, and there we remained until I went to college in Colorado Springs. Most of my memories are rooted in Rhode Island, but there are fragments in the attic of my brain which belong to various homes we had lived in when I was much younger. Most of these memories are unclear and pointless, chasing after another boy in the backyard of a house in North Carolina, trying to build a raft to
big
float
sister
on the
in law.
creek
I love
behind
you
the
too,
apartment we
Timely.
rented in Pennsylvania,
Sweetheart.
and so on. But there is one set of memories which remains as clear as glass, as though they were just made yesterday. I often wonder whether these memories are simply lucid dreams produced by the long sickness I experienced that spring, but in my heart, I know they are real. We were living in a house just outside the bustling metropolis of New Vineyard, Maine, population 643. It was a large structure, especially for a family of 3. There were a number of rooms that I didn't see in the 5 months we resided there. In some ways, it was a waste of space, but it was the only house on the market at the time, at least within an hour's commute to my father's place of work. The day after my 5th birthday, attended by my parents alone, I came down with a fever. The doctor said I had mononucleosis, which meant no rough play and more fever for at least another 3 weeks. It was horrible timing to be bedridden. We were in the process of packing our things to move to Pennsylvania, and most of my things were already packed away in boxes, leaving my room barren. My mother brought me ginger ale and books several times a day, and these served the function of being my primary form of entertainment for the next few weeks. Boredom always loomed just around the corner, waiting to rear its ugly head and compound my misery. I don't exactly
Wait, I'm missing on message. I've watched so many true horror story videos on YouTube, it's not even funny, XD. Oh yeah, I like to watch creepy stuff too, but I like stories and stuff like that. Not true horror. Super hug Tomo, I'ma hug you cause yeah, and I expose you XP. I mean, I don't like to call out the lurkers. I saw Tomo lurking from the start of the stream, so I know he has been here. Just saying. But hey, I don't like calling out the lurkers. But timely exposed you, so I could recommend you the YouTubers I watch for that if you want XD. Oh, of course, I would love to know, Bestie King. Wow, timely. Let's go, Tomo. Good to see you. That's how I tease him. Oh my god. Thank you, Tomo, for watching the stream from the start. Appreciate you. 985% love. Hell yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, go follow Tomo. What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to give some love to the lurkers too. Hi Tomo, I love your little brother at heart. Welcome in. Mr. Nightmare Nighttime Spooks is who I watch mainly. Ooh, I love that. Okay, I'll write that down. If you have any of their videos, we can watch them too, if you want to. Mr. Nightmare. Hi Jared XT. And Nighttime Spooks. Okay. Awesome. Alright, let's continue watching this.
Hall, How I Met Mr.
You
Widemouth.
sure? Yeah.
I think it was about a week after
it's
I
not
was
too
diagnosed
creepy.
with mono. My first
got
memory of the
plenty,
small
XD.
creature
Okay.
was asking him if he had a name. He told me to call him Mr. Widemouth because his mouth
Yeah,
was
Mr.
large.
Widemouth,
In fact,
okay.
everything about him was large in comparison to his body. His head, his eyes, his crooked ears, but his mouth was by far the largest. You look kind of like a Furby, I said as he flipped through one of my books. Mr. Widemouth stopped and gave me a puzzled look. Furby? What's a Furby? He asked. I shrugged. You know, the toy, the little robot with big ears.
Good to
You
see
can
you
pet
again.
and feed them, almost like a real pet. Oh, Mr. Widemouth resumed his activity. You don't need one of those. They aren't the same as having a real friend. I remember Mr. Widemouth disappearing every time my mother stopped by to check in on me.
Anyways, good night, big sister Bella, big brother Jared, and little brother Tomo. Love you all. Good night, Timely. Love you too. Sleep well. Goodbye.
I lay under your bed, he later explained. I don't want your parents to see me because I'm afraid they won't let us play anymore. We didn't do much during those first few days.
Like
Mr.
an
Widemouth
imaginary
just looked at
friend
my
of
books,
sorts.
fascinated by the stories and pictures they contained. The third or fourth morning after I met him, he greeted me with a large smile on his
Good night,
face.
little sister.
I have a new
Love you
game we can
too.
play,
Yeah,
he said.
exactly.
We have to wait
Love
until
you.
after your mother
Bye.
comes to check
But I'll
on
make sure
you,
to check your DMs
because she
soon.
can't see us play it. It's a
Okay.
secret game.
I will.
After my mother delivered more books and soda at the usual time, Mr. Widemouth slipped out from under the bed and tugged my hand. We have to go to the room at the end of this hallway, he said. I objected at first, as my parents had forbidden me to leave my bed without their permission, but Mr. Widemouth persisted until I gave in. The room in question had no furniture or wallpaper. Its only distinguishing feature was a window opposite the doorway. Mr. Widemouth darted across the room and gave the window a firm push, flinging it open. He then beckoned me to look out at the ground below. We were on the second story of the house, but it was on a hill,
Second
and from this
story,
angle the drop was farther than 2 stories due to the incline. I like to play pretend up here, Mr. Widemouth explained. I pretend that there is a big, soft trampoline below this
Okay,
window,
bye,
and I
XD.
jump. If you
How many
pretend
videos do you
hard
want
enough,
me
you
to send
bounce
you,
back
Bestie
up like a
Queen?
feather. I want you to try.
Hi,
I was a
Bella.
5-year-old with a fever,
And
so
chat.
only a hint
Hi,
of
Stevie.
skepticism
Welcome
darted through
in.
my thoughts as I looked down and considered the possibility.
Hi, Bella and chat. Welcome in. Hi, Stevie. Popcorn. Welcome in. Let's see. What time is it? I can't be alive too much. I need to go by 3:30 p.m. It's already 2 p.m. So 1.5 hours more. So whatever timestamp you have, one video more or something. Because I'm gonna just watch this part of the Mr. Widemouth, and then we are gonna switch videos. Because I wanted to show you this part. Because this spooked me a lot last year. What up, Stevie? Hi, Jared. But yeah. Let me go back to the part.
Feature was a window opposite the doorway.
Okay.
Mr. Widemouth darted across the room and gave the window a firm push, flinging it open. He then beckoned
Not the
me to
window.
look out at
Oh,
the
okay,
ground below.
yeah.
We were on the second story of the house, but it was on
Second
a hill,
story.
and from this angle the drop was farther than 2 stories due to the incline. I like to play pretend up here, Mr.
Oh,
Widemouth
so
explained.
just a couple
I
of
pretend
NXT,
that there's
okay.
a big, soft trampoline below this window, and I jump. If you pretend hard enough, you bounce back up like a feather. I want you to try.
Oh
I was a
no.
5-year-old with a fever, so only a hint of skepticism darted through my thoughts as I looked down and considered the possibility. It's a long drop, I said. But that's all part of the fun. It wouldn't be fun if it was only a short drop.
Oh,
If it
no,
were
honey.
that way, you
It's
may as well
not.
just bounce on a real trampoline. I toyed with the idea, picturing myself falling through the thin air only to bounce back to the window on something unseen by human eyes. But the realist in me prevailed. Maybe some other time, I said. I don't know if I have enough imagination. I could get hurt. Mr. Widemouth's face contorted into a snarl, but only for a moment. Anger gave way to disappointment. If you say so, he said. He spent the rest of the day under my bed, quiet as a mouse. The following morning, Mr. Widemouth arrived holding a small box. I want to teach you how to juggle, he said. Here are some things you can use to practice before I start giving you lessons. I looked in the box. It was full of knives. My parents will kill me, I shouted, horrified that Mr. Widemouth had brought knives into my room, objects that my parents would never allow me to
Not
touch.
knives.
I'll be spanked and grounded for a year. Mr. Widemouth frowned. It's fun to juggle with these. I want you to try it. I pushed the box away. I can't. I'll get in trouble. Knives aren't safe to just throw in the air. Mr. Widemouth's frown deepened into a scowl. He took the box of knives and slid under my bed, remaining there the rest of the day. I began to wonder how
Okay.
often he was under me. I started having trouble sleeping after that. Mr. Widemouth often woke me up at night, saying he put a real trampoline under the window, a big one that I couldn't see in the dark. I always declined and tried
Also,
to
I
go
know
back
I
to
should get a
sleep,
spin
but
from
Mr.
Marisa,
Widemouth
but we
persisted.
can wait till next
Sometimes he
stream.
stayed
Oh,
by my
God, I
side
didn't get
until
watchers
early
either.
morning,
We'll
encouraging
do
me
it
to
after
jump.
this.
He wasn't so fun to play with anymore. My mother came to me one morning and told me I
But
had
yeah,
her
how are you
permission to walk
doing, bro?
around outside.
Yeah, how are you
She
doing,
thought the fresh
Stevie?
air would be good for me,
do
especially
this
after
after
being
this.
confined to my room for so long. Ecstatic, I put on my sneakers and trotted out to the back porch, yearning for the feeling of sun on my face. Mr. Widemouth was waiting for me. I have something I want you to see, he said. I
Oh,
must
no.
have given him a weird look because he then
Mr.
said, It's safe,
Widemouth.
I promise.
It's
I followed him to
safe.
the beginning of a deer trail which ran through the woods behind the house.
Oh,
This is an
no,
important
not a
path,
deer
he
trail,
explained.
honey, no,
I've had a
no.
lot of friends about your age. When they were ready, I took them down this path to a special place. You aren't ready
Your
yet, but one day I
age.
hope to take you there. I returned to the house wondering what kind of place lay beyond that trail.
Oh no.
2 weeks
I don't
after
wanna
I met
know.
Mr. Widemouth, the last load of our things had been packed into a moving truck. I would be in the cab of that truck, sitting next to my father for the long drive to Pennsylvania. I considered telling Mr. Widemouth that I would be leaving, but even at 5 years old, I was beginning to suspect that perhaps the creature's intentions were not to my benefit, despite that he said otherwise. For this
Oh,
reason, I
God.
decided to keep my departure a secret. My father and I were in the truck at 4 a.m. He was
Pretty
hoping
good.
to
How
make
are
it to
you? That's
Pennsylvania by
awesome.
lunchtime tomorrow with the help of an endless supply of coffee and
awesome,
a
Stevie.
six-pack of energy drinks. He seemed more like a man who was about to run a marathon rather than one who was about to spend 2 days sitting still. Early enough for you? He asked. I nodded and he placed my head against the window, hoping for some sleep before the sun came up. I felt my father's hand on my shoulder. This is the last move, son, I promise. I know it's hard for you, as sick as you've been.
last
Once
move.
Daddy gets promoted, we can settle down and you can make friends.
Doing great.
I opened my eyes as
Nice.
we backed out of the driveway. I saw Mr. Widemouth's silhouette in my bedroom window. He stood motionless until the truck was about to turn onto the main road. He gave a pitiful little wave goodbye, steak knife in hand. I didn't wave back. Years later, I returned to New Vineyard. The piece of land our house stood upon was empty except for the foundation, as the house burned down a few years after my family left. Out of curiosity, I followed the deer trail that Mr. Widemouth had shown me. Part of me expected him to jump out from behind a tree and scare the living bejesus out of me, but I felt that Mr. Widemouth was gone, somehow tied to the house that no longer existed. The trail ended at the New Vineyard Memorial Cemetery. I noticed that many of the tombstones belonged to children.
Those tombstones belong to
I know.
children.
I love that one. It's like it's just spooky
Oh my
enough.
god.
I love
It's just
it
spooky enough.
because I feel like when you were talking about the deer trail, I was like, oh, there's something not right there. It feels very like Pet Cemetery, and I feel like because Stephen King is from Maine, like there's so many. This is what I'm talking about the East Coast. There's so many woods and like old houses that you
Yeah.
can create all these things in your mind.
Because there's so much history there, but also so much untamed land that it's kind of that perfect combination of history.
Also, why is the mom giving him soda like every?
Mom is giving so much shit trail. We should talk about how that's the real problem.
That someone said that was
I'm
the
kind of waiting for
problem.
Mr. Widemouth to be like, "Hey man, I got some cigarettes. You want to here? Smoke these. These are cool."
Also, this 5-year-old, you know, he was pretty aware. He's
Pretty smart 5-year-old.
knives are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be dead.
That's why
Oh,
5-year-old
Mr. Widemouth
is
would
Like
kill
smart.
trampoline, yay!
Trampoline.
Boom.
Rock out.
That's really scary to me
Just fun
because
with Mr.
I
Queen,
do
haha.
think that our
I only sent
imagination is
2
so
videos
strong
to you due to
that
the time crunch.
especially when
Also, I
you're
haven't
sick,
watched these videos I
when you're
sent you, so
sick,
it'll be
you're
brand
like,
new to me.
it
Hell
makes
yeah,
you
let's
do
go.
crazy things.
I like that story for that reason of, you know, you have imaginary friends. You have all these things that you imagine when you're 5, and theoretically, or just fun playing around thinking about it. If a monster existed and showed up when you were 5, and then in your memories you're going, that wasn't real though. Yeah, that didn't exist. But I love this story for that reason.
Me too, because then I'm glad that he went back and was like, oh, the house burned down. Let me just check out this trail. And it's a fucking cemetery
It's
full of dead children.
Cemetery,
Yeah.
bro.
Like,
That's
what?
crazy.
I know. But I like that there's an element of mystery about it. It's not like, I'm certain that Mr. Widemouth was real. It's kind of just, huh. And I always love scary stories that have an element of, maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was just. I also think, like the movie Pan's Labyrinth, like when we are sick or going through a tough time, our little kid brain naturally creates like a friend,
Yeah.
whether they are good or not. But I think that the friend reflects a little bit what's going on. And when you're sick, you're scared. So it's a friend who's like, I'm a little scary, but I'm also your
Yikes.
friend.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
whenever
we'll
I
watch
was
the
sick,
videos
I
after
would always
this
imagine.
and do the spin wheel.
I did grow up in the Catholic Church, so guardian angels were a thing. So I would always imagine like a guardian angel person
Oh, yeah,
near me.
a
Like I would
guardian
buckle the
angel.
seatbelt next to me.
Aww.
That's
But
so sweet.
I do think at night when I was scared, that's when the night terrors would come in. And I still, like, there's some people like, oh, you should be a medium. And I'm like, absolutely not. But I do think, like, are those just my imagination? Are they just like my anxious
How long
thoughts
is this?
turned into beings? Or are they really
9:29.
like
Okay.
ghosts from the dead, like, help me? Do you-
Oh, they're gonna just talk aloud. Okay, let's switch. This is the perfect way to spend the beginning of my day off because Misty Queen is perfect. Oh my god, stop. But yeah, let's do a spin wheel for you. Let's get that done. Let's see what you land on. Hold on. Give me a second. Hell yeah, Jared. Yeah. We love a week. A day off. Oh my god. My phone's so low. I didn't check my phone's battery till now. Holy shit, it's so low. Anyways, it'll be fine. It should be fine. Let's do spin. There it is. Are you not spinning? What's happening? It's not spinning. Hold on. Let's reload this. Okay, now it's spinning. What did we land on? Ooh. Well, sings a Bollywood song. You get to choose a song. If you need help deciding, I'm always here, XD. Oh wow, you got a Bollywood song. That's crazy. You got a song. What will it be? Yelling spin into the screen worked, XD. Oh my god. Yes. But yeah, you get to choose. Choose a song. You know what, we'll try. Let me try to get an instrumental one this time on YouTube. Romance song? Okay. Let me think. Na, na, na. There's so many. We understand? Yeah. Refresh, we back. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it does. Dil meri na sune. It's so loud. First in chat. Nice. Wow. Advertisement. Oh no. I missed it. Free advertisement again. SMH. Okay. मेरे चार इश्क की गई बस तेरी आहटें मिली मैं चाह रहा हूँ ना तुझे पर मेरी एक ना चली इश्क में नाव को मिलती है बारिशें फिर भी क्यों कर रहा दिल तेरी ख्वाहिशें दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल की मैं क्या करूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल मैं ना सुनूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ Also, if I missed some lyrics, I'm sorry. It's been a while since I sang this song. Theme. Such a beautiful piano and everything. Beautiful. Stop advertising every second. My god. रात ना अब मेरी ना मेरा सवेरा जानेगा मेरी इश्क मेरा इश्क में निगाहों को मिलती है बारिशें फिर भी क्यों कर रहा दिल तेरी ख्वाहिशें दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ They want to show their case their WhatsApp level. God. Yeah, whatever. If anybody wants to go check them out, I guess. They have a Facebook and a Gmail account, I guess, too. डरता है दिल का क्या गुस्ताख है ये डरता नहीं पागल बेबाक है ये रकीब खुद का ही इत्तेफाक है ये इश्क में निगाहों को मिलती है बारिशें फिर भी दिल तेरी ख्वाहिशें दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ दिल मेरी ना सुने दिल का मैं क्या करूँ ना सुने दिल का Thank you. Oh my god. I am done with the advertisement, but let's see. So some of the lyrics. दिल तो है दिल का क्या गुस्ताख है. So dil means heart. So basically it's dil meri na sune, dil ka main kya karu. So it's like my heart doesn't listen to me. What do I do about my heart? You know, kind of deal. So it's a beautiful love song. So yeah, it's a really beautiful song. I love this song. But yeah, I have your videos from Mr. Nightmare here. Let me read the list of the things they want to showcase here. What's happening now? So beautiful. You're doing great. Thank you. Perfectly. Well, they want to showcase their WhatsApp number, but yeah, you're a beautiful singer as well. But you can only have to advertise yourself once at the beginning of the video. Absolutely amazing, Bestie Queen. Aw, that's cute. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. My heart will always be connected with yours, Bestie Queen. Aw, love that. Thank you. It's a sign for me, but yes, let's get into the spooky stuff. Need to increase the volume again. Not that much. Story 1 by Haley Krepp.
It was October 1st. That fresh autumn breeze was in the air. It felt like fall, my favorite season. It was my boyfriend Carter and I's first fall living together in our new home. I wanted to surprise Carter by decorating the place with fall and Halloween-themed decorations before he got home from work one day.
They're true stories, by the way. Oh no.
I bought a few things from a nearby Marshall
hate true
and a few other
stories.
stores. I also looked up different apps and websites, most notably Facebook Marketplace.
Let's get the captions on too.
I simply typed in fall decorations. One listing really caught my attention. It was a picture of a big green plastic container, which contained a bunch of fall decorations. I clicked on it for more details, and more or less it said everything must go. Entire container of fall-themed decorations for sale for cheap. The price was only $20. It was a steal if that entire big container was full of decorations. At the bottom of the ad, it also said, selling other stuff, clearing out house, everything must go. Check my profile. So I clicked his profile, looked at some of the other listings he had. There was a weird assortment of things this guy was selling. An allegedly new iPhone for $700, a few articles of women's clothing, and Christmas decorations.
Well, you'll have
There were
to
others, but I
recommend
didn't
it to
go
Mr.
through all of
Nightmare.
them.
It's such a good narrator.
The profile
Yeah,
itself was
it's
kind
okay.
of low-key. Everything was private. The man's name was Cody, and his profile picture was a close-up of a gray trucker's cap on a guy's head, but his face
Okay.
was covered by the brim of the hat. The cover photo was a blurry photo of a lake.
Okay.
I messaged the profile, and he replied
That's
instantly.
kind of
I
crazy.
asked what kind of decorations were in the container, and he said all sorts. Tableware, outdoor decorations, etc. So I excitedly told the man I would come by them today if he were available. He confirmed he would be around later on, closer to 9 p.m., as that's when he'd get home from work. He sent me an address. I looked up the address on Google Maps Street View. It was not in the best town, honestly, but the house looked completely normal. 2 cars in the driveway in the Street View picture, lawn kept nice, so
Cute
I agreed to
emotes.
meet. I had my friend Sally come with me just to be safe. I went to pick up Sally across town, and we were off to this
Okay.
Cody person's house.
Cody
It was a
person's
half-hour
house.
drive.
Ooh,
Sally and I
10
had some time
hours.
to catch up on the drive there. When
They're
we got
really
off the
cute.
highway entering the town that the house was in, Sally started half joking around about how sketchy the area was.
Oh
I
god.
say half joking around because I know she was saying that partially to be funny and make light of the situation, but also because everyone just kind of knows this really isn't the best town.
Oh man, we all know
It
how
was
this is
dark
gonna
out
go.
though, so honestly we didn't see much besides streetlights, traffic lights, and some storefronts. As we got closer, I saw my phone screen turning on as it vibrated in the cup holder of my car. At the next light, I
who
checked
else
my
is
phone
cute? You.
and saw that it was
Don't do
messages
it.
from
Oh my
Cody
God.
on Messenger.
Stop it.
He said, when you get here,
We're
you can
being
come right
serious
in.
here.
I showed it to Sally, and she said, what the hell? We both could agree that that was a bit uncomfortable, and that we'd ring the doorbell anyway. We pulled up
Why
to the
would you
house,
ring the
and
doorbell?
surprisingly, there were no cars in the driveway. There were
Bro,
dim lights on in the house,
so
though, that could
sketch.
barely be seen through the closed blinds of the
I know
windows.
XD.
I messaged Cody back saying, we're here, can you come to the front? Sally and I both watched the house as I waited for a response. And then we both noticed at the same exact time that one of the windows, the blinds slightly shift, indicating someone was watching us through them. Then, just as quickly as we noticed it, the opening in the blinds closed. A few seconds later, the front door opened, and Cody messaged me back saying, "I'm at the door, you can come in." It was a bit of an unsettling situation, and I was just happy I
Oh,
brought
hell
Sally
no.
along.
Oh my
The
god.
two of us got out of my car and walked closer to the front door. Before getting too close, I called out Cody's name a few times, only to get no response. Sally whispered we should leave. I took a few steps
Cody.
closer and said "Cody" one more time really loud, and there was
I
no
wouldn't
response.
really leave right then
I
and
turned
there.
and whispered,
Same.
"Let's go," and we started walking back to the car, when suddenly I heard a guy say, "Hey, yes, I'm here, inside." We turned and saw a man at the doorway, but
Oh.
only about half of him. He was like peering only half
Chris,
of his
thank you so
body
much for
around the
the
door. He
hydrate.
waved us
Welcome in.
inside. Sally and I
How does
cautiously
everybody
turned back
hydrate?
and started walking back to the door. As I got closer, he fully opened the door, but then also
Okay.
walked out of view.
How are you
We
doing?
walked up the steps and into the house, keeping the front door open, and right away
You're
got hit
welcome.
with a
Thank
strong
you.
scent, like that cotton scent from an old person's house mixed with something very
Oh
unpleasant.
no.
We
Why
heard
would you go
fast and heavy
in?
footsteps moving away into another room, followed by his voice saying,
My
"It's over
heart
in
would
here,
be
come here."
beating
voice
so
was
fast and my
freakishly
instinct
deep,
would
like it was
just go away
intimidating.
from this place. I
I
just
made sure
woke up.
Sally was
Welcome
right
in.
by my side
We're
before
watching
entering the
spooky
adjacent
stuff.
room. We were faced with a very weird sight. A dimly lit living room with a depressing
This is the
pinkish
makings
red
of a trap
carpet
setup,
and really
exactly.
old-looking furniture. But the smell in this room was putrid. It smelled like actual death.
Oh no.
In the middle of the room was a red container with a green
Jesus.
lid on top of it. There was this Cody man standing just over the container. This was the first time I got a good, clear look at the man. He was not a friendly-looking man. He invited me over to come open the container. I took note of the fact that this container was not the same color as the green container that was in
Oh
the picture
no.
on the Facebook ad. It also was a completely different shape from the looks of it.
They must really
I
want
asked him
those
to open it
decorations as
himself,
much.
and
I
he
wouldn't
said,
go this far,
"You're no
bro.
fun."
For real, man.
That
Hey,
comment
Jared.
already had Sally and I inching backwards in the direction of the front door. But when he lifted the lid off the container and we were suddenly blasted with another putrid smell, we turned for the door and left in a hurry without
Oh my
looking
God.
back until we got to the car.
Oh my
Sally
God, oh
kept
my
telling
God,
me
run.
to hurry up. By the time my car was on, all I know is the front door to the house was already closed. I don't know if he was watching us through the window again. We were gone very quickly. We never actually saw what was in that container. It was
Oh,
definitely
God.
not decorations, though. After telling
Oh,
Carter
Jesus.
about all of this, he asked for the address of the place, and I told him not to
This,
go
yeah,
there.
this was all the trap, as
He
always.
assured me
About
he
time you
wouldn't,
guys
just wanted to
left.
look
Holy
up the
shit.
house.
I know.
So I gave it to
Crazy.
him. The next day, he returned home later than usual from work, and he told me he stopped by the house, and an older woman answered the door, insisting that she lives there alone. He knew I wasn't lying, though, because I showed him all the Facebook messages with the guy, which included the address.
An old
Upon looking
woman?
up the records of that address, it does list the owner as a woman in her late 60s. This was an incredibly disturbing and unexplainable experience.
Holy shit.
From now on, when buying stuff online, I avoid going to people's houses.
Yeah, just order to your home. What are you doing? Story 2 by James Wiegand. Jesus.
It was 2019 when this happened.
I want to give you all a heads up. I won't be available in a few days because I'm running on a 5-day Wi-Fi extension. Since I didn't pay my Wi-Fi bill, I won't be back until I pay for it to continue running. It's all good, Chris. It's okay. We love you still. And whenever you're able to come by, there's no, you know, we love you, okay? It's okay. Just get decorations from a store, for fuck's sakes. But why go through all that, man? I know, that's crazy. But yeah, 590% love. I love you more than that. But yeah, it's okay, Chris. Whenever you're able to be here. Yeah, exactly. My God. Ah, thank you, of course.
I remember specifically because it was the year I was living on my own in Asheville, North Carolina. I moved here for a temporary job, and it was an excuse for me to live on my own for the first time. I was 22 years old and just out of college. I had an apartment in downtown. I could walk to most things I needed, but I also had my car for when I wanted to branch out or venture out of town. The The thing I loved
It'll
about
make me wanna
Asheville and
cry,
North Carolina
Lamau.
in general
No.
was the sheer amount of
People
hiking
just don't think,
trails.
man. Lol.
I'd been
I've
to
not been
many
paying
around
attention
town.
to the story. I'm sorry. I'm gonna start from the start.
It was 2019 when this happened.
2019,
I
okay.
remember specifically because it was the year I was living on my own in Asheville, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I moved
Okay.
here for a temporary job, and it was an excuse for me to live on my own for the first time.
Nice.
I was 22 years old and just out of college. I had an apartment in
Super
downtown.
hug, yay.
I could walk to most things I needed, but I also had my car for when I wanted to branch out or venture out of town. The thing I loved about Asheville and North Carolina in general was the sheer amount of hiking trails.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been to many around town.
All the
but one I
hikes.
hadn't been to was DuPont State Forest. One day I decided to go. The drive was just under an hour from Asheville. It was a random Wednesday in October. The leaves were starting to change, and it was the perfect time for a hike. I didn't have work that day, and it being a work day for everyone else, it meant I'd probably have the trails all to myself. I got to the
Okay.
parking area for the park, and I found where one of the
Superhuman.
trails
What?
began. I walked for a while. The trail was
It's
serene.
okay.
I was the
Autocorrect
only one
gets me
out there
too.
that day. It was a cloudy day, and we'd been getting a
That's
lot
that
of rain
made me
that
laugh.
week, which was
Sorry,
more
I
of a
was so
reason I wanted to
concentrated on
go,
the
because the
thing.
trail would lead to some nice
Superhuman, thank
waterfalls
you.
called Triple Falls and High Falls.
There it goes.
The
Mr.
waterfalls
Queen
would
is
be
a
more
superhuman
impressive after a few days
doggy.
of
How?
rainfall.
I'm not.
I only had to hike about 0.4 miles before getting to the Triple Falls,
Ooh,
which was a really
hikes.
cool sight. A little piece of
Nice.
trivia, a
Love
scene in The Hunger
waterfalls.
Games was filmed at this waterfall. I took a few videos and pictures as I sat on a rock for a bit. I noticed a woman in the woods on the trail. She was looking at me. I waved at her, trying to be polite, and she just turned around and slowly walked deeper into the woods until she was out of sight. Not really
What?
something I gave a second thought to.
Damn.
Anyway, I wasn't
Shush,
tired
lol.
yet. I had literally just started hiking, so I didn't sit for too long.
Lamau.
I got up and headed back to the trail. I didn't want to try climbing the rocks of the waterfall because they were incredibly slippery. I continued to ascend up the trail and eventually came to the higher point of the falls called High Falls.
High
I
falls.
took a few more videos and pictures here and sat on another dry rock for a bit. I swear I felt a sense of deja vu when I saw that woman again in
Oh
the
no,
woods by
again?
the trail.
The man
Once
random
again,
woman
she was
looking at you
staring
in
me
the middle
down.
of the woods. Bad vibes,
I
man.
didn't
know.
wave this time. I instead looked down at my phone, pretending not to notice or care. I couldn't help but glance up after like 10 seconds. Now she was gone. If I
Ooh.
had to guess, the woman was like 55. She had short, grayish blonde hair from the looks of
Oh,
it.
hell
But
no,
again,
that's
she was
so
pretty far
creepy.
away, so this was all just what I saw of her from a distance. I didn't see which way she went, but whatever way it was, I wanted to go the opposite. I kept
Yeah.
walking the direction I'd been walking, and eventually came to another landmark of the trail, the covered bridge. I once again stopped here to take a scenic video and a few photos.
The woman has
I
to
drank a
be
bit of my
stopping
water
this guy
and
like
looked
what?
at the end of the bridge from the side I had just walked from.
It's crazy.
I saw that woman. I swear I didn't see her there before I started taking videos and pictures.
Oh no.
I also didn't hear anyone walking behind me.
Oh
She was
god.
once again staring right at me as if I were doing something wrong. I was getting annoyed. I started walking over to her and said, "Excuse me," but she just turned around and started walking away. Actually, the speed at which she was walking away for someone at her age was unsettling.
Oh no.
I almost felt concern at the
I wouldn't
possibility
go
that she
there,
may have
honey.
been somebody with special
wouldn't
needs
go
that
to the
needed help.
woman.
But I didn't convince myself to go chasing after her. I
Don't,
just leaned on the edge of the
no.
bridge for a few minutes before deciding to turn back. I had already been hiking for about 45 minutes, and it would
Oh my
take
God,
another
man.
45
Oh
to get back
God.
down to the car. Walking back down the trail I came, in the direction that woman had gone, I passed a younger woman walking her dog.
Are we
So I
bolting out
decided
of
to
there?
stop her and
Same.
ask if she'd seen an older woman pass by. She said no, and just trying to make conversation about it, talk to somebody about it, I told her how I kept seeing that woman popping out of nowhere and looking at me, and just
Okay.
walking off. She laughed and said that's really, really strange. I didn't want to take up too much of her time, so after we both shared a laugh about it, I continued on my way.
Oh no.
The
She's
entire
also
way down
low?
the trail, I grew a bit paranoid that I'd see that woman lurking around in the background somewhere again. But all was quiet on the way down. I passed
way
one
down?
other person who gave me a friendly smile and a nod. Other than that, I made it back to my car undisturbed.
Okay,
Later
cool.
that day, I went on a date with a girl I was seeing there. We went to our favorite local
That's a
bar to
hell
get some
no,
pumpkin
same.
spice beers and watch baseball. I told her about the woman on the trail, and she found it amusing, because honestly it did sound funny. After that,
How is
I
it
went
funny?
home. Fast forward to that night when I was in bed. I hardly ever wake up in the middle of the night. I'm a pretty heavy sleeper normally, so me
Oh
waking up
God.
in the middle of the night in the dark was unusual.
Oh no.
I was still coming to when I heard something at the foot of my bed. I looked up and saw the figure of a woman at the foot of my bed. I
No.
felt as though my insides had just fallen out of my body. I started screaming so loud that I'm sure my neighbors could have heard it, even with the windows closed. I started crawling against my headboard, trying to distance myself as much as possible from the female figure at the foot of my bed.
Oh God.
Then she just turned and walked out of the room. I stopped screaming now, more so trying to just catch my breath and slow my rapidly beating heart. I flicked on the lamp and started shouting, "Who's there?" I listened, but there was dead silence.
Oh no.
I grabbed the knife I had in the nightstand next to my bed and jumped out of bed. I flicked on every light switch I passed until the entire apartment was lit up.
Holy
There was
shit.
no one there. Not in the closets, not behind a couch, not under any beds. So I called my father. I didn't know what else to do. I needed to share what just happened with somebody.
Oh my
My
God.
father groggily picked up the phone, and after explaining to him, he said I must have hallucinated it while I was still in my half-asleep state. He said I wasn't fully awake yet, and so I could have been seeing things. I knew deep down he was probably right, but it didn't make the image I saw any less real-looking or horrifying.
Oh God.
Then I
Is
told
this
him about
woman
the
even
woman in
real?
the park,
Because how could
and
he
how the
not
figure at my bed
hear her walk
actually
behind you?
resembled
Oh boy,
her.
oh hell no.
He
Is
said
this
if
all an
anything, that
hallucination?
further
I
proves
don't
his
know.
point that my brain conjured up a familiar image from earlier that day. Somehow, I went back to sleep that night, with my bedroom door barricaded with my dresser just in case. It wasn't until 2 days later that I heard from my mom that her sister in Germany died. I'd never met my aunt. She'd been basically
Oh.
estranged from my
Oh
mom,
no.
as she hadn't left Germany in over 25 years. My mom and uncle flew to Germany to attend the funeral, and it wasn't until she got back home and I saw the prayer card with my aunt's face
Oh God. So let's
on
continue
it.
this. I'll
that
read your
once
messages
again,
in a
I felt
second.
like my organs dropped out of my body when I realized she looked identical to the woman I saw on the trail that
It's
day
the
and
aunt.
hallucinated at the foot of my bed. This story shook my whole family, especially because I told my dad about all of it and the hallucination before we even got news of my aunt's passing. I was born a Catholic, but never found myself to be super religious after
Oh no. It
confirmation.
was the
But
aunt.
goddamn, does this really send shivers down my spine and make me question what exactly I believe in.
Okay, story 3, Anonymous. I think he picked and ate the wrong mushrooms out on the trail, Lamau. Oh no, I might have came in at a bad time now. It's almost 4 a.m. for me and I couldn't sleep. No. Lol, Stevie, oh man. Nasty, what a time to arrive. What? It was all an hallucination? Wow. No, but it was the ant though. How could he picture the ant exactly? She died 2 days ago, and that's when he saw her too. It was for the first time. Holy shit. But Chris, if you're about to sleep and you're watching this right now, I would suggest that you either mute the tab and not see this because I don't know, man. Some of these stories are creepy and I wouldn't want to watch it right before bed. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. This is crazy stuff. He had to see the ghost then. Oh my god, I don't know, man. This is creepy. Ooh, I liked it. Creepy but good.
My friend Carlos and I like to do stupid things together. We've been friends since we were 10. When we were 21, we became roommates. We lived in Brunswick, Georgia, where we grew up. A little coastal town that had its pros and cons, but overall was an okay place to grow up. But it got boring as we entered our 20s. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. While we did live there, we knew about a creepy looking house that differed from the rest of the houses in town, in that it looked like it was built in a different century. It had long been abandoned, and we and our friends would make up stories about its history. It was mid-October, and everyone was in Halloween mode. People were doing Halloween-themed activities like haunted houses
But how
and
did
corn
the
mazes
aunt
and
even
such.
know where he was?
We
So
thought
many
it would be
questions but
fun
no
one
proper
Friday night to
answers.
go
I
break
know.
into that house and explore.
So many
So after
questions
we
in
were
the
both
mist.
home from our jobs, we both grabbed baseball bats to bring with us, stopped for some fast food and beers on the way, and drove to the house.
Why?
We parked all
I
the way
would
down the
never go
road,
to
just
a
not to be
haunted house,
suspicious.
bro.
The houses around there were not that close
Unless it's
together,
a
so
site where
each
you
property
can go
was pretty
ghost
big,
hunting.
which meant we were less likely to get caught snooping around. We both grabbed a couple beers each and threw them in our backpacks.
With some people who are brave
Not sure
enough.
why we thought we were going to drink in there, but along with
Yes.
that, we stuffed our baseball bats
bats.
into the sides, just so no one would see us
the
walking around
bats.
with baseball bats in our hands late at night looking like trouble. We quietly walked down the street, just whispering to
Bats.
each other. It took less than 5 minutes to get to the house. It was so dark on this part of the street because this house, along with the house across the street, had no lights on. There weren't any street lights on the street. Whatever light there may have been would have had to come from one of the few houses with their lights on.
Okay.
From here on, we used our flashlights we brought. The front lawn had a bunch of dirt patches.
I wouldn't
The
mind a
patches of
haunted house,
grass
but
were
I'd live. I
overgrown.
was
Lots
only
of
stay in
weeds
it for a
everywhere, it
little while.
seemed.
Same.
We walked around to the backyard to look for an entry point
Not the
because
whole
doing
night.
that out
No, no.
front seemed stupid for obvious
Not
reasons.
for me.
Shockingly, the back door was already unlocked. The place wasn't boarded up or anything. The back windows weren't even smashed. We knew that the place was abandoned though. Everybody did. We walked right in.
Not an
Navigating
abandoned
inside
place,
of there would have
though.
been impossible had it not been for our flashlights. The house was bigger than some of the neighboring houses, yet the inside felt very cramped. Like there were a lot of rooms, but they were smaller, almost giving the house a maze-like feeling. Carlos stepped into another room away from me, and at that moment I was alone. I heard his voice say from another room, "Yo, there's still furniture everywhere." I responded, "Yeah, this place must have been abandoned in a hurry." Everything
Abandoned in a
seemed
hurry.
ancient.
Oh, hell no.
Furniture in my grandma's house, only not used in
Baseball
years.
bats for a ghost
I walked
town.
around the first floor some more. I came to a tiny corridor with a few doors that led to bedrooms. I entered one of the
I
bedrooms.
love
It was
missing
incredibly
animals.
cramped.
So cute.
The bed took up 80% of the room. I went through some of the drawers in the dresser, but they all seemed like they'd already been
We were
gone
like
through.
Shaggy
Same
and
with the
Velma
closet.
batting ghosts and
Anything left
Scooby-Doo
behind
and
besides
hitting
this
your
old
home
furniture
run.
just looked
Hell
like
yeah.
junk.
Oh
I heard
god.
Carlos say he's going upstairs. I said back, okay.
Don't
We
go
were speaking
alone.
at a
Why are you
volume that
going
was just loud enough
alone?
for each of us to
In different
hear.
parts of the
After checking
house
out
that
the
is
other bedroom down on
abandoned.
the first floor, which
No.
was equally cramped, I went back out to the corridor.
Why?
There were two other doors.
That's bad.
One that led to a bathroom, and then when I
Oh
opened
nah.
the final door,
I would never
was
go
looking
alone
down a
on my
long
own,
stairway
bro.
to a basement.
Hell
I
no.
decided,
Not the
"Fuck it,
basement,
I'm
no.
walking down." I
No.
started descending the steps, each
my
step
God.
squeaking and cracking under my weight.
Oh
I got about
no.
halfway down the steps when I realized there was a faint glow coming from down there. I turned off my flashlight, and yes, there was still a little faint glow coming from down there. I should have turned
I can
and left in that
understand being
moment
bold,
like
but
any
this is
normal
insanely
person.
bold.
But
Shivers.
I do
Oh
stupid
god.
things. Like I die first in a horror movie,
Zoink,
most likely.
Scoob.
I continued down the stairs with my flashlight off. And when I got to the bottom, I looked around the walls separating the stairs from the rest of the basement, and I saw what was just barely lighting up the room. It was two tall candles sitting on a table, but that wasn't the first thing I noticed. What I saw first was what was next to that, and it was some kind of sofa rocking chair, and it was rocking. Someone was seated in it. It was facing
Oh,
away from
no.
the stairway. All I could see was a hand on one of
Dude,
the
what
arms
are
of the
we
chair.
doing?
I had to get out of there.
Oh my
I
god.
started going back up the
Hell
stairs
no.
as quietly as I could, with each crack and squeak causing me to cringe in fear.
Cringe and
I was
fear.
halfway up the stairs now. I looked back down and could still see the faint glow of the
Oh
candles.
no.
So I continued as
Not
quietly as I
candles, bro.
could.
Yeah, this person would
I was
100% die
almost
in a
to the
horror
top.
movie first.
One
This
stair
person not
creaked
smart in
especially
horror
loud.
movie stuff. What?
I paused
Yeah.
for a moment, clenching
Zoinks.
my teeth so hard. I
Stop.
proceeded up the final steps and
Guys.
made it to the top. I turned to shut the door, but I noticed it was pitch black down there now. The
Ooh.
thought of the candles having been put out sent a shiver down my spine.
No.
I quietly closed the door, and then I tiptoed around this cramped maze of a house until I found the stairway going upstairs. I
Okay.
stood at the bottom of the stairs and quietly called up to Carlos. He wasn't responding.
Oh no.
I sighed and started quietly going up the stairs, repeating Carlos's name. Still no response.
Oh god.
I had to go all the way up to the top of the stairs,
Oh,
repeating
no.
his name, and he still wouldn't respond. So I said, "If you're trying to scare me, stop joking around. There's someone in the
I
basement.
just
We need to
felt
get
my
out of
head
here."
spin. Oh god.
That got his attention because he stepped out from a dark room and asked if I was serious. I told him I'd explain outside, but that I'm not kidding. He followed me down the stairs. I was trying less so to be quiet now because I just wanted to get out of that house. We were heading back to the back door where we entered, but when we passed the corridor of the basement door, we both saw the silhouette of a man standing in front of the door.
Oh my god.
The time for sneaking around was over.
Bro, don't
I
jump
kept
scare me
repeating
like
just go
that.
as we booked it outside
Shit.
and ran for my car.
That
We
sound
made it to the
effect.
car in like 30 seconds. I was already winded by the time we made it back. I backed the car off that street and started driving us home. In the car ride was when I explained in detail what I saw. All Carlos kept saying was, "Yo, what the fuck?" to everything I said. He was in just as much
Bro,
disbelief as me.
that was
So, while
creepy.
no,
Oh
I don't think
man.
anyone legally lived in that house, I do
It
think
is
someone was
that's
squatting in
been.
there,
Dude, this
down
is
in
so
that
creepy.
basement. Who knows who it was? Honestly, who cares? I just never returned anywhere near that street.
Yeah, don't go there. Holy shit. Whew. Alright. 3 disturbing true. What was. Which one was this? You wanted me to see another one. Oh my god. Let me reload. Okay, it was this one. Then this is the other one you sent.
Disturbing memory from my young childhood. I was about 7 or 8 years old. My mom would usually
Hold on, guys. Why are you starting? Subscribe first. Oof. Duskull caught by Jared, me, and Stevie. Oh no, Chris, you didn't catch it. Oh man. Whoa, you never returned there, man. It was the Halloween one. Yeah. Oh god. Shiver me tinkers. Sorry, Chris. Feels bad, man. Rip. Oh god. That motherfucker bailed me. Baited me. Oh god. Here's some love. 966%. Hell yeah. It's crazy. Okay. 3 more stories, I think. 3 disturbing true Halloween horror stories. Okay, here we go. Oh boy. These being true is more scary. Story 1 by Greg Green.
This is a disturbing memory from my young childhood. I was about 7 or 8 years old. My mom would usually.
So, what's your first impression of Mr. Nightmares? Honestly, I think these are like really cool stories to hear. Exactly. Yeah, no, these are like really cool stories to hear. Honestly, them being true and from people who have experienced stuff, it's like really crazy that way. But they're the right amount of chilly to, keep you in the suspense and keep you on your toes. And I really like the vibe, the way he's reading the story, so I really like it. His voice is so soothing too. Exactly, it's perfect for reading ghost stories. What are you talking about? Anyways, I'll BRB. Guys, I need to go to the washroom and fill my water bottle. So BRB. And then we'll see these last 3 creepy stories, okay? You also guys go do what you need to do. BRB. Hello? Where have I been missing? I'm back. What are you guys talking about? Oh my god, you guys have been talking. Holy shit. Alrighty, okay, I'm chilling XD. I'm getting another birthday art from my friend. Oh, I love that, Chris. Let's go, dude. Hell yeah, man. Let's walk. I'm fine. I'm finna be 22 soon and I feel old now. Haha, don't worry, Chris. I'll be 27 next month and I'd feel old. Goodness, lol, gonna need to change your name to Old Chris soon. Nah, but 22 is definitely still young. Yeah, 22 is pretty young. And 27 isn't that old either, Bestie King. It's okay, okay? It's a great age. 20s, you're in your 20s still young. Okay, I'm 21, so yeah, lol. When I turned 21, I got my first birthday art from my friend. Now she's doing it again. Aw, I love that, my guy. You deserve an awesome birthday. Not old Chris. Oh my god. Love, 418% love to Jared. Nice. That's so cool to have art for your birthday indeed, and she's doing it on stream. I love that. Aw, that's so sweet. And how much love did you give? 331%. I guess Chris loves Jared Burger more than Jared loves Chris, so hey. Man, this bot hates me, bruh. Lol, that's actually crazy. Ooh, that's even better. Welcome back, welcome back. Stream Elements hates me so much, man. XD, welcome back. Kapaka. Not gonna lie, bro, I was in the art stream and I think I broke the bonk redeem Lamel. I'm a mod in there too. Yeah, I know XD. Oh, I love that. Who are you talking about, if you don't mind me? I love supporting people. So if you do want to share their stream and stuff like that, because art streams are really cool. I love them. And I would love to support if I can. And you're a mod there too? That's awesome. Okay, let's get back to these creepy stories while you share the link. But yeah, let's go. Story 1 by Gregine.
This is a disturbing memory from my young childhood. I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
My mom would usually take my brother and I trick-or-treating. But this particular year, after school, she dropped me off at my friend Sean's house, where Sean, our friend Johnny, and I would go together.
Okay.
Johnny and Sean were a year older than me. We met while I was playing with my brother on the block.
Okay.
Johnny and Sean lived around the block from me. Sean had a weird upbringing that I never really understood. His sister was like 20 years old. There was a big gap between them. She was always his caretaker, it
20
seemed,
years
whenever
old.
I was at his house. His house always smelled like cat, and his sister always had a different guy over, it seemed like. His sister was always cold to me, in the sense that she'd never acknowledge me or say hi or anything.
Okay.
Sean's dad was never in the picture, and his mom, I believe, was always working out of town, I guess. I only met Sean's mom a few times. We never really stayed in touch for long enough for me to figure all of this out. Anyway, my mom dropped me off at Sean's, expecting that Sean's mom would be trick-or-treating with us. After saying goodbye, I went into his house. Johnny was already there. We all had big pillow sacks to fill with candy.
Nice.
This was around the time that I learned that neither Sean's mom nor sister were coming with us to supervise.
Oh.
I was young, so I sort of felt slightly uncomfortable knowing that Johnny and Sean would be leading the way.
5-year-olds
But at the
going
same
around
time,
alone?
I felt a sense of excitement that we'd have more freedom. I knew for a fact my mom would not have approved of us going.
Let's see, a great friend of mine that does great Splatoon art and other stuff. Her name is Luna. Her channel is Luna Luck Eclipses. So the stream half the time when I'm gone. Lamau, another streamer that plays Splatoon 3 and other games, and her sometimes does art stuff. Her name is Nessa, and her channel is Full Trash. Oh, I'm gonna write these down, and I'm gonna look at their channels when I end my stream afterwards. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. I love to support new people, so we'll definitely check them out. If anybody wants to give, you can give a shout out to them if you want to, Bestie King. That's up to you. But hey, thank you so much for sharing. I love that. We'll definitely check them out after stream. Oh, hell yeah, Chris. Yeah, give them a shout out. They were playing Splatoon 3. Oh, Timely also loves Splatoon 3. I love that. And then they were also playing Splatoon 3. Nice. But for Miss Nessa, be careful when watching because she likes to curse a lot. I curse a lot. Who the fuck cares? Ads. Who the fuck cares about it? I like some cursing. Exactly. Rip. It's a long break. 1 minute. Okay, we'll wait for Chris to come back and then watch this further. But hey, I do some cursing too, a lot, sometimes. Fuck yeah. I like some cursing. Same. She does say the N-word sometimes, so watch out though. Oh, damn. That's crazy. Oh, jeez. I see. Should be fine, I guess. I don't know. Let's wait for Chris to come back. Yikes. Oh. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. Yep, that's why I said be careful, Lamau. Okay. I'll be watching out then. Oh my god. Wait, when did you subscribe to Emo, Bestie King? Did you get a gift sub or did you subscribe on your own? That's so cool that you have emotes. Masquerade. Alright, welcome back, Chris. Okay, let's watch the... Of course you like cursing too, Bestie Queen, lol. Oh my god. I'm back, welcome back. We were waiting for you to continue the video. There we go. I got gifted. Hell yeah, that's lovely, love that. Awesome. Okay, let's continue.
Unsupervised though. So eventually, we were off into the neighborhood, walking around doing our rounds door to door.
But yeah,
Quite a few
5-year-olds
people
and
asked if
walking
we were alone
alone.
or where
No.
our parents were, and Johnny would always be the
Trick
one
or
to use the
treating?
same
No.
lie, that his mom is up ahead with his sister. It worked every time. This was on a Friday, so we didn't get
I
to
can't
start
sub
trick or
because I have to
treating
spend
until
my money
around
on
5
stuff.
o'clock.
It's okay, Chris.
But we didn't have school the next day, so we intended on going until our pillow sacks were completely full. We took a break after a couple of hours and went to Sean's, where he heated up a bunch of frozen pizzas. At the time, I was so
Frozen
jealous of the
pizzas.
apparent freedom he had in his house, not having parents who cared about what he did.
Thank you
But
for the
looking
hug
back
back.
now, I count myself super blessed to have grown up in a
You can also
household
do a
with
hug
two
back
strict
too.
parents.
Oh, I caught
After we
masquerade.
hung out at his house for
Oh
an
no,
hour and
Stevie.
watched Halloween
No, you
specials on
didn't get it.
Nickelodeon while eating pizza and candies, Johnny eventually was picked up by his mom.
There we go.
But Sean
Hug
and I
back.
wanted to keep
Yeah,
going.
you're all good, Chris.
So we
Yeah,
eventually
exactly.
headed back out for round 2. It was dark out now, and it
I
had
just
to be
love to
past
live
8
and chill
p.m.
here.
There were a lot less trick-or-treaters
Yay.
now. We tried to go to certain blocks we hadn't gone down yet, which
Okay.
meant straying further away from Sean's house. We found a block we hadn't touched yet and continued
Oh,
knocking
God.
on doors.
Please,
Some houses
they're
didn't
so
answer
young.
at this hour.
Don't
Mostly
go
everyone
alone.
else had a comment about us being alone or how it's getting late. We noticed a
Yeah.
man pushing a stroller a couple houses down behind us. He was walking very slowly in our direction.
Oh no.
Probably a dad trick-or-treating for his young child. As we continued
I
going
always
door to
trick or
door,
treated
the
with my
man the
cousins when I
stroller
was
got
younger.
closer.
That's so cool.
Eventually,
I
we
never
heard him
got
going,
to do it. We don't do
and singing
Halloween here.
softly. Eventually, he caught up to us. He said, "How's the trick-or-treating going, boys?"
Oh
we
my
replied,
God.
"Good," at the same time.
To
And
be
then he
fair
said,
with you,
"It's
Bella, I
pretty
miss
late.
Timely.
I'm on my way back
Aw.
to my house. I can give you
Same,
guys the rest
I
of my
missed
candy."
Timely too.
Sean and I looked at
Timely
each
does
other
love
with telling
Splatoon.
faces, as if we just
She
hit
did
the
come by
jackpot.
earlier, but she has
Sean
gone
asked
to
what kind
sleep
of
now.
candies, and he said a bunch of bags of different things. He
I'm
said
not
he didn't get to
surprised.
give
Oh,
much
no.
away because he wanted to take his daughter out for a trick-or-treat stroll.
Mm-hmm.
He did have a bag dangling on one of the handles of the stroller, which was filled with some candies. The stroller was fully covered by a folding piece on the top, so we couldn't
That's
see his daughter.
suspicious, my guy.
He said she's asleep and he didn't want to wake her up, but he pointed
Why
ahead
would you
and
cover
said
the
his
whole
house is just
stroller
up
up?
this way.
Oh no.
So we followed behind him as he pushed the stroller.
Don't
He was
follow
walking
him.
a little faster now. As we walked,
Oh,
I
God.
realized there was next
Immediate
to no
red
one else
flag,
out
man.
at this point.
Oh my God.
Even though it was a Friday night, it seemed like a
Don't
quieter
do
side of the
that.
neighborhood.
Why are you following a
The man
stranger?
talked to us as we walked,
Stranger
asking
danger.
us questions. We're part of the neighborhood we were from, where we went to
This
school,
is a trick or
basic stuff.
trick to lure kids,
I
man.
let Sean
I
answer most of the
know.
questions. Him being even just a year older than me at that age, I felt like he was the one who should take lead. On multiple occasions as we walked, the man would lean into the stroller and talk in a high pitch to his daughter. Then he'd turn back and smile at us.
Oh
He
God,
finally made it to his
that's
house.
so creepy.
He led us up the walkway with the stroller and unlocked his door.
Oh no.
After he opened it, he brought the stroller with his daughter inside first, and then invited us to come inside. Sean led
No.
the way, so I followed.
Don't
I was the one
go.
to
I'm
ask
sorry,
if we
but
could
if
leave the
something
door
like that
open.
happens, I'm having
The man
something with
paused,
me.
and then said, "Yeah, of
Same.
course." He said he'll be right back as he goes to get the candy bags. He pushed the stroller into the middle of the living room, only about 10 feet away from where we were standing.
Oh my
I
God.
nudged Sean because I felt uncomfortable. I whispered, "Why would he leave the candy so far away?" Sean didn't respond. Instead, he turned toward the living room and then walked up to the stroller. He lifted up the folding part that was covering the baby, and he looked disturbed. He hurried back to me, whispering, "Let's go."
Oh my
He was
God.
full on running once we got outside, and I followed behind, which was a bit tougher because we had those heavy pillow sacks.
Hold on, hold on. Hi, last. Hello, I can't stay. Gotta do a few things. Morning, just saying hi. Welcome in for you. Welcome. Welcome in, last. It's so good to see you. Oh no. What did you see in the stroller? I'll do a little bit back. But hi, last. Just leave the candy. Oh my God. Let me send some love to last. Thank you, last, for coming by. I miss you. And so good to see you. 539% love. Hell yeah. Hey, last. Before you go, I had a question. How did you get your name? It's such a unique name. Last Ropa Kiss, you know? It's such a unique name. Like, how did you think of that name? I'm just curious. Oh God, okay. Indeed a unique name. I know, it's such unique. I guess I'll have to last later. It's okay, last. Have a good lurk. Goodbye. I don't know if you heard me, but it's okay. Have a good one. It's from a song, lol? Oh, you heard me, okay. From a song. I would also gift subs, but I want to save money. All good, Bestie King. It's also your birthday coming up soon, so please. It's all good. What song, though? I'll try guessing some songs later. Once we end stream, I guess. But thank you so much for coming by, last. Have a good lurk. And hope your stuff goes well. Good morning.
I whispered, "Why would he leave the candy so far away?"
It's a song by Death
Sean
in
didn't
June.
respond.
Ooh, awesome.
Instead,
Shh,
he
why
turned
you
toward the
gonna
living
say
room
it's
and
almost
walked
my
up to the
birthday,
stroller.
lol? Cause it
Lifted
is.
up the folding part that was covering the
It's
baby.
November 14
and he
for
looked
anyone
disturbed.
guessing.
He hurried back to me, whispering, "Let's go."
Lol.
He was full on running once we
Oh
got
my God.
outside, and I followed behind, which was a bit tougher because we had those heavy pillow sacks.
Oh my
I
God, just
still was
run.
confused about what he saw, but just then, we heard a woman's voice yell, "Excuse me." It
Oh,
was one of his neighbors. She came running over to us and asked if we know that man. And it was at this point that Sean spilled the beans and said he offered us his leftover candy, but he was pushing a stroller with a fake baby in it.
fake
I remember
baby.
getting goosebumps as he said that. The woman
Oh
said,
no.
"Yeah, that man doesn't have a child. I saw you was walking by with him." She took us to her car and drove each of us home. I know, getting into a stranger's car after that was another questionable move.
Oh my God. This is scary. Oh my God, why you had to say it. I may be back soon or by for now all. Okay, take care, last. We might not be streaming a lot. Let me see. Time. Bye, last. Why? It's 2:53 p.m. so I'm going maximum 3:30 p.m. or something. Or before that. But yeah, take it easy on your morning, last. Yeah, exactly. Why are we doing that? Oh God. Okay, I want to know what exactly. Let's hear
I
from
still
here
was
again.
confused
Sorry.
about what he saw, but just then, we heard a woman's voice yell, "Excuse me." It was one of his neighbors. She came running over to us and asked if we know that man. And it was at this point that Sean spilled the beans and said He offered us his leftover
4:28,
candy.
4
He
a.m.
was
for
pushing
me.
a stroller with a
So
big
late.
baby in it. I remember getting goosebumps as he said that. The woman said, "Yeah, that man doesn't have a child. I saw you walking by with him." She took us to her car and drove each of us home. I know, getting into a stranger's car after that was another questionable move.
Why would you get into a
The
stranger's
woman
car
came to my
too?
front door to talk to my mom about what we just told her. My mom was distraught. After I told her every last detail about the night, she sent me to my room while my parents called the police on that man.
Oh my god.
My parents never told me anything about what happened after that. I believe they wanted to shelter me from any more exposure to the situation. My mom didn't want me going over to Sean's house anymore, and I know she had quite a bit to say to Sean's mom. I did see Sean at school once in a while still, and we remained cordial, but our friendship was never the same after that night.
Aww. It also broke off a friendship. My god, why did you have to mention my Rudavestic cleaning? Because I had to, okay? Oh my god. But their friendship was also not the same. I guess fine, but damn, XT. But yeah, that's crazy. RIP. They almost got kidnapped though. Like something, they could have been killed even. Because they were in this man's house. That's so scary, bro. And the parents finding out about that. I understand why they were like that, but like big rip. Yeah, that's really scary. Oh, so many things won't be the same if something like that happened to me, man. I know you might do something for my birthday and I am not ready for it. Hee hee. You will never know what might come for you. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you're on point, bestie queen. Yeah. Oh. It's a follow on Kick. Thank you so much for the follow. Your stream is next level. Followed immediately, no pressure, but it's love to collab if you're down. Hit me on Discord. Well, mentioning Discord, we do have a Discord server if you want to come. I'm not gonna be doing another Whisper sideways divine flavor 450. It's a nice name. But welcome in, and you can join the Discord server that just got linked from Botrix if you want. I'm not sending DMs privately, thank you. That scared me. I know. Oh no, that those type of people. I know. I mean, hey, if they're genuine, they can go join from the Discord server. I'm just saying. But I'm not doing a collab separately. Anyways, moving on. This is really fun. Story 2 by Carla Manola. Nice name.
It was Halloween night, 2016. I was tasked by my parents to hand out candies to all the kids for the day. My mom bought 1 million bags of candy that I knew we'd have left over for weeks, and I'd be the one regrettably munching on them for days, if not weeks to come, as I was trying to lose weight.
Oh yeah, those
I
candies.
always told my mom she went way overboard with the candies.
Oof.
The house was in a cul-de-sac on a dead end. We hardly got any trick-or-treaters usually.
Oh.
However, we did have some loyal kids who'd always come to our house knowing how much candy we'd give.
That's
Halloween
awesome.
was on a Monday this year.
The dedicated
I
kids.
was in college. I conveniently had Mondays and Wednesdays off this semester. So the first half of the day, I went to the gym and then worked on my assignments for class. It was always around 4 p.m. that the sound of kids outside would indicate that trick-or-treaters were out. The first time the doorbell rang was, I guess, somewhere between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m.
Okay.
The day went as you'd expect. There's nothing interesting about handing out candies all day to little kids, and my dog
I
Vito
remember
barking
the
like
candy I
crazy
got
every time
back
the
then. I
doorbell
would eat
rang.
slowly to make them last.
I'd say from the first
That's
trick-or-treater
awesome.
to
I
8
love that.
p.m., there were maybe 10 to 15 total.
Also
As
matching
I
you,
said,
Little, is so
that
cute.
cul-de-sac was
You would be
out of
such
the
a
way
cute
for
child.
people to come. It was more
That's so
effective
cute.
for trick-or-treaters to pass it and just keep going straight.
Okay.
It being a Monday night, things quieted down much
The
earlier than
decorations
usual,
are crazy
I'd
on
say.
these houses, by the way.
I got enough homework done, I put a dent in my projects, and so I had some of my mom's leftover stew and went to my room to watch Game of Thrones.
Ooh, Game
I
of
was
Thrones
literally
on
2
Halloween.
episodes in when I heard the unexpected sound of the door.
Wait, hold on. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and come back whenever I pay my Wi-Fi bill. I'm gonna be playing Splatoon 3, so if y'all have a Switch, I can send my friend Core here. RQ, me a cute child. Wow. What happened? I mean, you're so sweet now. Take care, Chris. But yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for hanging out with us. Another hug to you, and Hey, it's okay. I don't have a Switch, otherwise I would have played Splatoon 3 with you. But thank you for the offer, and yeah, please do take care of yourself. And whenever you're able to come back, I am gonna be streaming Tuesdays and Fridays. So 2 days in the week. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I would have otherwise. But hey, I hope you have a good time, and we'll see you when we see you. Splatoon 3 also costs money, Bestie Queen, lol. Well, okay. I didn't know about that part, but hey, we'll see. Everything costs money mostly, so I'm not surprised. Okay, let's continue. But yeah, bye, Chris. Take care.
Vito started barking again. I looked at the clock and it had to be like 9:30. This was definitely beyond the cutoff time for trick-or-treaters.
Cutoff time.
I went downstairs
Of course,
to the front
take care.
door and opened
Yeah,
it.
it does, lol.
On the other side of the glass storm door was a very tall man in a clown costume.
Ooh,
with a very
not in a
scary looking
clown
mask.
costume. Oh
I knew
no.
it was a man just based off the frame of the person. He was alone. He waved at me
So I was
and
not
then
a
pointed
creep
at the brown
child.
sack he was holding.
Lies.
It looked basically empty. I didn't
Oh my
open the storm
God.
door. I just said
I
through
hate
it, sorry,
clowns
we don't
so
have any
much
more
for some
candy,
reason.
and slammed the door shut. I locked it right away. I instantly regretted opening the door. I genuinely thought it was just some kid or an unfortunate mother
Bro,
or
look
father
at-
who worked late
look
and
at
wanted to
the-
get some last-minute trick-or-treating in with their
Look
kids.
through the hole.
Whoever I
Look
just
at
saw
who
on
the
our stoop was
person
not a
is
kid.
first. Don't open
Hell,
it.
it didn't even look like a teenager. The frame of this person was massive, and the clown costume just made him look even bigger. Thankfully, I didn't grab the candy bag before opening the door, so he couldn't see that I was lying. I hovered by the door for a bit just to listen and see if I'd hear footsteps walking away. But not only did I not hear him walk away, he rang the doorbell again.
Oh my God.
Vito once again started going ballistic. Vito's a rat terrier. His bark is not intimidating, nor would he ever actually defend the home from an intruder.
Oh
I picked
God.
him up and carried him upstairs after turning off the
For
lights
you, man.
downstairs.
So creepy.
This was my half-assed attempt at getting him to
Wow.
think I was absolutely never opening that door again tonight. I
Nope.
put Vito in my room and shut the door so he wouldn't keep barking. I stood at the top of the stairs listening, and then I heard through the front door, the storm door being forced open, like there was a loud snap implying that the latch may have been broken from force. I then heard both knocks on the front door, and then the doorknob moving around. At this point, I decided to hide in my room. I was incredibly
Oh my
unsettled.
God.
I texted my family group chat about what was going on. No one answered, though.
Oh
Of
no.
course, I knew that whoever that was had to get bored. I would have texted all my guy friends asking who it was, but all my guy friends are short. I
Oh my
resumed the
guy
episode I
friends
was
are
watching.
short.
I was truly just trying to pretend he wasn't there. The doorbell rang once again, though. This was a nightmare. I kept telling Vito to shush. I had my blinds closed too. I didn't want that fucking clown knowing what room I was in. I tried calling my dad, but he didn't pick up. I called my brother, who picked up saying he wasn't alone, and I knew that meant he was with a girl. I told him check my texts. There's some guy dressed as a clown at the door, and he won't go away. My brother said it's a Halloween prank and to just ignore it. He seemed like he was in a hurry to
Don't
get off the
ignore
phone,
it.
so I hung up. I hoped he was right. It honestly made the most sense to be a prank. So after a few more minutes of sitting on the edge of my bed, anxious, the doorbell did not ring again. I finally felt safe to relax again and lay back down. I
No,
started
don't
drifting away
relax.
slowly, so I turned off the TV to allow complete silence and darkness in the room.
Don't do
Very
that.
shortly after that,
Call
I
the
drifted to
police.
sleep.
Yes, call.
I don't
Call
even
the
think I
police.
was
What?
asleep long enough to enter REM state and have a dream when I woke up to Tito growling and quietly barking, as he would do when he was waiting for approval from one of us. I told him to be quiet, and he stopped. I looked to see what he was looking at. He was looking at the window.
Oh no.
I listened. There was a sound coming from like right outside the window.
No.
The slightest thumping sounds. And I could almost swear
What
the
are we
sound of
doing,
something
man?
rubbing on the window.
I don't know.
My bedroom was on the second floor of the house. It's not like anyone could be outside my window. But I
Second
wondered what it
floor.
was. I got up and pushed open the blind on my window. And boy, was I wrong.
No.
That man dressed as a clown was at my window.
Oh
All
my
I could see
God.
was that horrific mask on the other side of the glass. He tilted his head as he looked at me, screaming my lungs out. Tito didn't even bark from what I remember, or maybe I just blocked everything else out. I ran with my phone out of my room and to my parents' bedroom, where I locked the door and dialed 911. I was too shook to even cry. My whole body was shaking, and my
Oh my
voice was
god.
trembling
He's
as I
calling
spoke
the
to the
police
911
now.
operator. I must have asked the operator once every 20 seconds to get the police to hurry up. She'd tell me the same thing every time. They're coming as fast as they can.
Okay.
The police got to the house in roughly 10 minutes.
Finally.
They examined the exterior of the house to look for any attempted entry points. All they found was that the latch on the front storm door was broken, like I figured, and leaned against the side of the house by my bedroom window was my dad's ladder. That man went into our storage shed outside and found my dad's ladder to use to climb up to my window.
They
To
used
avoid
his
this going any
ladder.
further, I went to go sleep at my guy friend Adam's house. To this day, I don't know if this was just a sick prank purposely played on Halloween, or if there was about to be a horrible crime committed with the sick novelty of it being Halloween.
Buddy. Oh hell nah. Bro. Like, I am already afraid of clowns from all the horror movies, you know? The famous clowns and everything. This gave me chills, bro. This is not a story. Think twice about that lady. Oh my god, bro. I would have called immediately. I'm like, nah, there's nobody going to be doing that to me. And how do you know? I don't know if I even showed you younger pics of me. But I can just tell, man. You didn't, but I just know. Oh my god, I swear to god, bestie queen. But yeah, would they really grab a ladder just to prank you? No, this was definitely premeditated. They were going to do something. They had ill intentions, exactly. This is, nope. I'm not buying that. Nope. Okay, story 3, anonymous again. Why are all the third stories anonymous? Okay. Let's see.
It was late October, Saturday, Halloween weekend. I think Halloween was on a Tuesday this year, so the big party night was the Saturday before. My friends and I were still looking for last-minute plans since everything was sold out. Ideally, we wanted to find a house party. We all had pretty
don't
funny
know.
costumes too, and we wanted
I
to
don't
get good
either.
use out of them. My friend Kate actually decided to put on her Instagram and Snapchat stories looking for parties tonight. Not
Okay.
something I would have ever done. I'd
Don't
find
look
that
for
to be kind of
parties
shameless
online.
and embarrassing, but I was glad she was willing to do it.
Oh my
I was
god.
surprised when she texted in the group chat that someone hit her up about a party. Pretty soon after, she sent a screenshot of the details in the group chat. It had an address, start time, and a few ground rules, such as the party would only be indoors, no backyard access, and bring your own booze. It also
Okay.
said must bring at least one girl for every guy. The guy who sent the details to Kate was one of our
What?
guy friends around our age who mutually knew a lot of the same people we did. Apparently
That's
a number
such a
of people we knew
strange
were going to this
rule. Why
party.
would you need to bring
The
a
house address was
girl?
one town over, super close.
What?
So between the four of us, we all went to Shauna's house since she had the open crib. We pre-gamed there for about an hour as we all finished up getting ready. We waited till our guy friends confirmed that they were going. Then we decided to head over.
Oh my
We called an
god.
Uber. We all had our own drinks, varying from Four Locos to White Claws to vodka shooters.
And bringing
Uber
their
driver
own
was probably
drinks
sick of us
too?
by the end
Oh
of the
man,
drive.
matchmaking.
When we got to the house,
Matchmaking, no, yo. Welcome in. How are you doing? This is not matchmaking. What? How are you doing, my kind sir? This guy friends. This must be a female who wrote the story. No, she said, yeah. This is a female writing the story. They did mention they were waiting confirmation from guy friends. I'm good. Hell yeah, I love that. Let's go. That's such a cute emote. Hello. Chocobi dance. But yeah, we're reacting to spooky stuff, spooky stories here. Okay, this does not seem safe, first of all. I am not going to a party that requires you to bring a guy friend with you compulsorily. And why are you looking for a party online? Even if you're mutuals. No. Go to a friend's party that you already know of. I'm not going to a stranger's party or who I know barely. I'm sorry. No. Okay, let's continue.
We saw a bunch of cars everywhere. The house was pretty big, very spacious front yard.
I agree. Same.
We were 4 girls walking in, so surely whoever was throwing
4
this party was
girls.
gonna love us.
Oh my
We
god.
didn't hear any music until we got closer to the door. Then we heard
Okay.
the beating of the bass. I opened the door, and the first room we were in was a cross between the living
You
room
just don't
and the
go to a party
kitchen.
and celebrate at your own
The
home.
entire house
True.
was very dimly lit,
Same.
only by a bunch of orange lights hung up, definitely
That would be so
creating a
much simpler
Halloween
and
party
safer.
ambiance.
Yeah.
The
True.
place was decently crowded, but honestly, we didn't know anyone. Kate texted the guys we knew to see if they were here yet. In the meantime, some older guy came and greeted us.
Okay.
He asked our names, and he said he's John, Luke's dad. Apparently, Luke was the guy throwing this party.
Luke
I
was
asked
the
who
guy.
Luke is, where he goes to school, and he replied, "Oh, he's around here somewhere. You can ask him when you see him." Then he asked us if we wanted to put our drinks in the cooler. He led us
Okay.
into the kitchen, where
Older
there were
guy.
3 big coolers of ice. Each one already had a
Suspicious.
bunch of drinks in it.
Oh
So
no,
we put
not
some of our
good.
cans in the coolers. The John guy seemed like he was 50-something years old, which would make
50?
sense if his son was the one throwing the party. But at the same time, it seemed slightly weird he'd be so welcoming and involved in such a big party in his own
Oh
house.
hell
He
no.
was going around talking to everybody.
That's old. Oh my god, this is a pedo or something. No. Why is the dad here when the son is throwing a party? That's too old. Nope.
Well, it seems mostly the girls.
Mostly
Seemed like he
girls.
could have also been drunk. The 4 of us played beer pong at one of the tables, where
Oh
some
my
guys started
God.
talking to us, so we
This is 100% a random old person who blended in. Oh my god.
started playing them. Kate then said our guy friends were on the way, which I was happy to hear. John suddenly yelled my and Kate's names over by the counter in the kitchen. He was
Okay.
yelling shots. My other 2 friends, Shauna and Tracy, looked slightly offended, so I said, "Can we all have one?" And he yelled, "Yeah, sure." So we went over to the kitchen counter by him and all took a shot of tequila.
Oh my
I
god.
gagged because there was no lime.
Don't.
I was definitely starting to get drunk after this.
Oh
It was
no.
odd how much the dad of the house was trying to hype this party up. He had this oddly welcoming yet unsettling
No.
presence. The unsettling part
don't
because
get
he was much
drunk,
older than
no.
the generally college-age
I'm getting a
people
headache
here,
from
and
this.
He was pushing drinks on people. Then he asked what our poison is. I wasn't going to say anything until the girls all gave their favorite drinks. John started making a bunch of mixed drinks. In the meantime,
No.
we went back to the beer pong table where the guys we were playing were still waiting. I plugged
Ladies,
my phone
what are
into
we
an outlet
doing?
just
I don't
because I was
know.
down
I'm so
to like
scared right
50%.
now.
Then I went back to the game. Mid-game, John came over with 2 drinks for Kate and I.
Stop.
And then he came back with 2 more for Shauna and
Oh my
Tracy.
god.
They were all in red Solo cups. He made me a vodka soda. I sipped on it during our beer pong game whenever I had a chance. I was drinking it slow because I was already drunk. After we lost to the random guys, I went to get my phone, only to realize it didn't charge at all. It was still at the same percent.
Damn.
The outlet wasn't working. I didn't feel
This is so
comfortable leaving
dumb.
my phone
I
on
know.
any other outlets, so I just refrained from killing the battery any further. Our guy friends eventually showed up, and it was soon after this
thank
point
God the
that
guy
things
friends are
quickly
here.
became a blur. I mean, very quickly. Like 1 second I remember talking with our friend Jeff.
Oh my God.
The next, blacked out.
No.
The next thing I remember was my friends waking me up in the car outside my house. I felt woozy. My vision was blurred. My head was spinning.
Oh my
We were
god.
in one of our guy friends' cars. One of the guys walked me to my front door and helped me inside. Then they
Okay.
all left. I was alone, except for my parents asleep in their room. I felt I must have drank way too much. But
Oh
I
my
also had
God.
a woozy, weird feeling in my head that I'd never felt from drinking. I felt dizzy. I went
Oh my
straight to my
God.
room to bed. I checked my phone, and I had some text from a random unsaved number.
Oh.
I opened it, and there were a bunch of texts already. It started with me texting my name, and then they responded, "John." Uh-oh. After that, he said,
Uh-oh.
"You look so cute." Based on the time he sent this, it was still during the party. There was a 2-hour gap from then until he texted me again saying, "Where did my favorite girls go?" I was shocked at myself that I gave that man my number. I
How?
must have been drunker than I thought. But regardless, I lowered my head onto the pillow and fell asleep instantly. The next morning, I woke up to some
Okay.
disturbing texts. As my
Oh
head was
no.
spinning, I read these sickening texts.
Oh my
After I
god.
fell asleep, I got texts from John that said, "Where are you? I'm coming to your house. You left something here." Followed by, "I'm here. Can you come to the door?"
Oh
Followed by,
no.
"Hello, are you awake?" He also tried calling me 3 times. This was all at like 2 a.m. I sent the screenshot to my friends. This was when they reminded me of what happened. John was all over me as I was increasingly becoming a zombie. My friends started getting concerned, so they pulled me away and we left the party. And just as we were leaving, 2 police cars showed up outside, presumably for a noise complaint. And as we left, everyone took note of there being no furniture in the house. It was just a big empty space filled with people and beer pong tables.
Huh?
One of my guy friends looked up the number somehow, and he told me it was a voice over IP number, which I didn't understand, so he just said it was a fake phone number that John texted me from. He also
Okay.
said that with my number, he could easily find my address. I felt even more sick now. I asked if anyone ever met his alleged son, and everyone said no. We were starting to think there was no son, and when Shauna suggested he might have roofied me, it made so much sense. I'd never before felt the way I was feeling. We decided to take this to the police.
Oh
We
my
all went to the
god.
nearest police station and reported everything, including the texts. The cop at the front desk asked if this was in relation to the house party in the vacant house last night. We were at first confused by him saying vacant house,
Vacant
until he
house.
explained that there was a call from neighbors about a party going on in a house that had been vacant for some time.
It was vacant?
We all looked at each other with our mouths gaping. We were all brought into an office to sit down with, I guess, a detective to take down the whole story.
Okay.
He took the fake phone number and said they'll try to trace this back to somebody once they get a warrant. We gave the police everything we could, and we went on our way. I blocked the fake number. I honestly felt sick over this for a while. As the days went on and nothing happened, I was confident it was over. But
Oh.
none of us ever heard from the police.
Okay.
Never heard of any arrests being made or anything. To think that man went out of his way to advertise a house party in a vacant house to have access to young women, roofied me and possibly other girls, lied about having a son, all of this. This was clearly a very, very dangerous man. And the fact that we still haven't been called in to identify anybody scares me to think he's still roaming free. This was a month ago. I'll update if things change, and I'm crossing my fingers that they do.
I'll update if things change. Oh my god. Oh, okay. I'm sure the old guy had really bad intentions since the girl blacked out. No, call the police on him. This guy is a bad man. Yup. I was gonna say that, but didn't wanna say it in chat. My gut was correct on what the guys just did. Oh my god. Bro, of course. I told you this was all a trap. I had a feeling it was 100% a trap setup. Jesus Christ, bro, this is so scary. Like, as a girl, we already have so many things that can happen, that can go wrong, stuff like that. And, just like, this just sickens me to the stomach and everything. For real. Solve it, never having friends. No, you need to have friends, but you don't need to do dumb stuff like going to a random party that was posted online. It is sickening. Stay safe, it is sickening. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're going to a random person's house, you never saw the sun, you never saw anything. That's crazy. Like, scary. What time is it? Must protect bestie queen. Hey, it's okay. I'm mostly, good. Anyways, we're mostly safe and everything, and I have so many amazing mods and everything, so it's good. We are chilling. 3:20 p.m. almost 3:30. I should raid out. No, I think this was really fun though. I'm just saying I would protect you at the given moment. And always will, Bestie Queen. Oh, I really appreciate that, Bestie King. Alright, yeah. We should rate out. Now, I'm trying to see if a friend of mine is still around or not. Because I want to rate to them, so let's see. Okay. Yeah. I'm not getting any answers. Oh, Pony's still here. Okay, cool. Okay. Guys, we're gonna be rating to Pony. I'm not gonna do a big shout out, just a small little shout out for her. But, Pony is doing a Kickstarter today for, a comic that she was working with her sister Amy and a bunch of artists. It's a comic about a zombie apocalypse kind of situation. And they have been working hard to make that comic, because making a comic, you have to do a lot of drawing stuff. You need to make the characters, you need to draw each panel, you have to put in the dialogue boxes, and it took a long time for them to do it. Pony, yes, exactly. So she is gonna be doing the Kickstarter today. They are on a countdown for the Kickstarter. I've already joined the Kickstarter, but for that I wanna raid her, and we're gonna make a custom command Congo on the let's see, let me make one. Get Bellad Congo on the Kickstarter. Hold on, I want to make a custom command. Guys, don't go away, please. Stay. It's gonna be fun. Okay. 3, 4. There we go. And a normal raid command. Let's copy it here too. Control C. Control V. Congo on the Kickstarter. Three, 4. There we go. But yeah, thank you so much, Jared Berger, Bestie King, for the 22 months at tier 2 and 31 months. It's all 31 months. And Zaco Elegant for the follow. And for the follow, Divine Flavor 450. And yeah, thank you so much for coming by, guys. I really appreciate you. Woo! Yes, we're gonna raid to her some chat love. Mod love for Bestie King, and timely VIP love for all the peoples. Thank you so much for coming by chilling with me. This was really cool. I would definitely love to do more reacting stuff if I do find some more cool stuff here. But yeah, copy the raid calls and let's raid out to Pony. Goodbye, Bestie Queen. Goodbye. There we go. Guys, follow. Let's see. But yeah, thank you for the stream. Yay, thank you, Stevie. But yeah, thank you again for the follows. We're at 675 follows. At 800, you know what's happening. The face reveal teaser, and at 1000 face reveal. So I'm just saying. But yeah, thank you again for coming by. I really appreciate you guys. Copy the raid calls, and let's go to Pony and support her. But yeah, goodbye. Much love. Bye 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 bye.